individual bats and the individuals who you enjoy watching play the game you wait all winter for are not here right now to be seen. But they will be soon enough. They have waited 5 months for Phillies baseball, and here it is. It's the opening day of Spring Training Baseball 2012. It's the 66th year that the Phillies and the city of Clearwater put on spring baseball, and this afternoon the Phillies will host the New York Yankees. Hi, everybody. I'm Tom McCarthy along with Chris Wheeler. Happy to be back and happy for baseball to be here. And for the Phillies Wheels, we talk about this every single year. It's been kind of a renaissance over the last decade or so.
We expect postseason play, Tom. When you're down here every year, you think the Phillies are going to keep playing after the regular season ends, and they sure have been able to do that for a long time. It's been a tremendous run for the Phillies in postseason. Look at this, 5 straight Eastern Division titles, including a World Championship. Now, everybody knows there's going to be a new team that'll get into postseason play this year with a wild card edition, and Charlie Manuel talked about how tough it is and what it'll take to get back to postseason play.
I think it basically, like we got to get there first again, and at the same time, we just got to outplay the other team, and we got to hit and pitch at the right moment. We got to catch the ball, and we got to actually boils down to there's breaks and a lot of luck in baseball and stuff like that, but you got to just outplay the other team, and you don't want to get in situations where with one swing of the bat late in the game or something, somebody can send you home and things like that. And you got to get leads and you got to stay ahead. I like everything about our team. I love our pitching. I like the acquisitions that we made this winter, and I think we're going to be better than last year. And we won 102 games, of course. But I'm really happy and I'm excited about this season.
Well, like Charlie says, Tommy, there have been a lot of changes around here, but the one constant, that guy right there, Charlie Manuel.
He is the cover of this year's media guide. He is the all-time winningest manager in Philadelphia Phillies history. The curtain is drawn this afternoon. It'll be Cole Hamels taking the baseball for the Phillies. Ivan Nova, the young right-hander for the Yankees, who won 16 games last year. Here we go. The 2012 season is underway, and they could not be happier. Every ball game. It's one of the greatest sights to see here in Florida, particularly here on the West Coast, and it's really the best facility in all of minor league baseball when it comes to spring training sites. And the fans are getting all lathered up, getting themselves ready to go for the start of the season. And, you know, we always talk about opening day of the regular season being like Christmas Day for a lot of folks. Well, you know, I guess you could put spring training, the opener for spring training, into that same category, Wheels.
Absolutely, Tom, especially in this age of Phillies baseball. There's so many people, you know, you talk to, they say, oh, I can't wait to see that first game. And luckily we have one of these beautiful afternoons. It's not going to be beautiful for the pitchers. Look at the palm trees.
Yeah, the winds are blowing every which way.
They normally don't bend quite that way. But on a day like this, it is blowing out a ton. It is a hitter's day. Anything in the air's got a chance to be an adventure. And, you know, you could have a guy have a pretty tough outing here today.
All right, let's take a look at the lineups for this afternoon's ball game. They're brought to you by Xfinity, only from Comcast. For the Yankees, leading it off is Brett Gardner, followed by Curtis Granderson and Nick Swisher. Raul Ibanez, he got a great round of applause when he was introduced. He'll be batting cleanup. Eric Chavez, the first baseman, bats fifth. Russell Martin, sixth. And then Eduardo Nunez, Bill Hall, and Jason Nix. And they will face Phillies left-hander Cole Hamels, who will pitch one, possibly 2 innings this afternoon, coming off a year in which he won 14 games.
Yeah, they got 6, 7, 8 guys they could possibly use this afternoon. They have them all lined up, so it really depends, Tom, on you know, how easy this first inning is. There, see the fine season he had last year. Everybody knows Cole's a free agent this year. There's been a lot of talk about maybe getting him locked up as the season goes along before the season starts. You know, I thought he handled himself great in the press conference. As you see the scouting report on him, where, you know, he just kind of said, like, I can't worry about that stuff right now. Obviously, I love pitching in Philadelphia. I'm a Philly. I want to stay here. It's a business, so we'll see what happens.
Yeah, he and his wife Heidi have done such great work in the city, too, with the city school systems and their grants that go out each and every year. So he has kind of built a nice foundation in Philadelphia. And, of course, it doesn't hurt that the team has won ever since he's been up in the big leagues.
Yeah, and, you know, you look at Cole Hamels as Joe Girard. That's hard to believe. This is, what, 5 years for Joe Girard? That Joe Torre's been gone that long. It just seems like yesterday that Torre was leading the Yankees. Now Joe's the manager. But, you know, Cole Hamels is a guy who has grown. He physically is a bigger, strong. He's a man out there now. You know, he's not that kid that came up a few years ago. He could be a number one for many, many teams in Major League Baseball. And this team, you know, basically he's the 3 because of Halladay and Lee. But what a three starter for you to have a guy like Cole Hamels.
All right, he's ready to go. So is Brett Gardner, the 28-year-old, who is playing left field this afternoon for the Yankees, which is where he will normally be. Last year hit .259 with 7 home runs. And here we go, the first pitch of spring training. And we're underway, and that's a strike on the outside corner.
And this is one of the guys on the Yankees that can table set for them because he can fly. You don't have, you know, that many guys in their club. They're going to run real well. It's like the Phillies are not a real speed team.
Yeah, 49 stolen bases last year for Gardner. Yeah, that's 1 ball and 1 strike. Eric Kratz is doing the catching this afternoon for the Phillies. Brian Schneider and Carlos Ruiz are the 2 catchers that will be on the roster come opening day. Ground ball back toward the middle. Michael Martinez, and this is a big spring for Martinez, records the first out. So 1 away, and I say that because the Phillies, as everybody knows, traded Wilson Valdez to the Cincinnati Reds, and that's not to open the door wide for Michael Martinez, but he probably has a foot up on everybody else to be the extra utility guy.
Yeah, because he can play shortstop. Number one thing your utility, quote, utility infielder has to do is be able to play a competent shortstop, and he can more than do that.
And for those of you who bought Michael Martinez's number 19 jersey last year, we apologize. He's now number 7.
Yeah, he switched with Lance Nix.
Here's Curtis Granderson. What a year he had last year with 41 home runs.
Think he likes that short porch?
Big time.
At Yankee Stadium? Wow.
0-1 the count. Toward right center field. That's going to be an extra base hit for Granderson. Victorino gets to it quickly, but it died in the wall, and Granderson will pull into second base with a leadoff double. Well, when he was with the Tigers, he used to love the alleys because he said that he thought triple all the way. This is the kind of ball that he used to hit when he was with the Tigers.
Yeah, he would hit a lot of doubles because, as you said, he's got tremendous speed. But to think that he's a 40 home run guy in this era now where home runs are down, but home runs are not down when you're a New York Yankee because of that ballpark at Yankee Stadium. They hit 220 some home runs, I think, last year.
Yeah, they led the American League.
Yeah, and you know, it's just a tremendous park for a left-handed hitter.
So runner at second, 1 man down here at the top of the first. Nick Swisher, the hitter. Swisher, like Cole Hamels, is in the final year of his contract with the Yankees.
Yeah, they brought their starting outfield over here today, and they're batting him 1, 2, 3.
And then you could throw in Ibanez in there too, because he'll be their fourth outfielder, and he's batting cleanup.
Going to do a lot of DHing, evidently.
There goes Granderson. Ball is lifted in the air down the right field line. We were watching Hunter Pence and the rest of the outfielders take fly balls the other day, and it's an adventure sometimes here in spring training with all the wind.
And today it's really adventure. That ball started out like it was going to be foul when he hit it. And not a good job there either by Swisher, because Granderson had third base stolen.
Well, there's Raul Ibanez. He got a much louder round of applause when they introduced the starting lineups, but now it's game time. Now there's a mixture of some boos in there, or as Philly fans know, the Rauls that were so popular at Citizens Bank Park. Ibanez last year for the Phillies, 20 home runs, 84 runs batted in.
Yeah, Raul will never be a guy that'll come back to Philadelphia and necessarily get booed or be a villain because he didn't ask to leave.
Right, you'd never be able to tell anyway because of the Raul.
Right. Well, a little more venom in the boo, I think.
He'll be used as a designated hitter against both sides, but mostly against right-handed pitching.
Yeah, he's a guy that's going to hit right-handers a lot better than left-handers. We saw that in the years that he was over here. And solid clubhouse guy, and they were looking for a DH, and a late signing is Raul Ibanez for Joe Girardi.
No balls and 2 strikes the count to Ibanez. And he lifts that one down the left field line. Wind has taken it, and it's a fair ball right on the chalk. And Granderson will score. Ibanez to second, and he's safe at second.
How foul was that ball?
On any given day, it would have been way foul. I think Michael Martinez hurt his hand on that tag.
He gets slide right into it. That ball was way foul down the third baseline and then blew into fair territory. Hit on the line. Here's a look at it. It's coming back, and right on the line for the double. Now they're going to have to take a look at Michael Martinez. His Ibanez slid hard into it. Right there.
Yeah, and he immediately took his glove off, and it looks like it's his index finger, and it looks like it got the nail got ripped a little bit.
It spiked it.
So that finger is outside the glove, and Sean Fiscani, who's the one of the new Phillies athletic trainers, is out there to tend to that. Sean is a New Jersey guy. He's been in the Phillies organization for a number of years and has been elevated to be Scott Sheridan's assistant this year. He is from Allentown, New Jersey.
You know where that is.
I do.
You know that quite well.
Yeah. Well, hopefully they'll just be able to tape that up. It'll be fun.
And you can see they're asking him to move the finger, to wiggle it and everything, make sure that there's no chance of a fracture. So they just cut here. Again, going in there with those spikes, good hard slide. Just have to cut his finger.
So Ibanez is at second. 1-0 Yankees here in the top of the first. Eric Chavez, whose name has been pronounced 8 different ways since he was with the Oakland Athletics. Chavez.
Well, if you're going to pronounce it, in Spanish, it's Chavez. But I think he's Chavez, right?
Yeah, I think he is. Although for a time I thought he was Chavez.
That's where the Dodgers play.
Popped up left side of the infield. Jimmy Rollins, sunglasses on, and he'll take care of that. And the first inning is in the books for the Yankees. So Ibanez's RBI double gives the Yankees a 1-0 lead. Cole Hamels will go towel off of the dugout as we get set for the Phils to hit. Xfinity, only from Comcast. Leading it off at shortstop, Jimmy Rollins, followed by Shane Victorino, Hunter Pence. How about Jim Thome back in the Phillies uniform? He'll DH this afternoon. Ty Wigginson's over at third base. John Mayberry Jr.'s at first. Dominic Brown starts in left field this afternoon, followed by Eric Kratz and Michael Martinez. And we'll give you a little insight on some of the positions that the Phillies will have to deal with without Ryan Howard to start the year. There's right-hander Ivan Nova, a 16-game winner last year, and pretty good chance he'll be in the rotation again this year for the Yankees.
Any American League pitcher in their hits under innings pitch, that's always a good thing. Walks and strikeouts, that's pretty good too. This guy did a very, very good job for them, and you know, he'll fill in the rotation. They really set up their pitching this year when they made that trade with Seattle. Here's the scouting report on Ivan Nova. He led the major league rookies in wins, and he's a big-time big league starter now.
Well, he's facing a big-time big league shortstop in Jimmy Rollins to begin the bottom of the first. Rollins with a freshly dotted contract during this offseason. I think everybody was happy with that, and Jimmy obviously was happy to come back. And he's in good shape. He's come in a little lighter, and as he says, more flexible, and that's a good thing to keep him healthy for 162 games and beyond.
Yeah, he is happy to be here, you know. But there was a chance he could have gone somewhere else. It just didn't happen, thankfully.
2-1 the count.
He did. You know, they talked to some other teams, and you know, some of the stuff was a little bit late.
Well, he said Milwaukee, I guess, was the one that was the latest before he signed the Phillies contract.
But he wants to be here.
He and his wife Jahari are expecting their first child in May, a little girl, as Jimmy said. He's going to be a great dad.
Yeah, he says this has been interesting going through all this up to this point. Oh yeah, he'll be fun.
3-1 the count. This is one of the topics during spring training, the count and the way the Phillies hitters go after that 3-1 or that 3-0 pitch. Charlie Emanuel talked at length about that yesterday.
That was a 3-1 fastball in the zone. That, you know, swing at it. It's all right. So was that.
Yeah, Nova picks up his first strikeout, one away here in the first. Well, something else Charlie talked about yesterday and throughout spring training is bunting. There's Jimmy Rollins working on his bunting technique.
Well, you think, how many times have we talked about it over the years that even if you show bunt once in a while, you get it on the scouting report and you'll pull the corners in. And that's a good thing. Even if you don't bunt all that much, you bring the corners in and you give yourself more of a chance to shoot a ball through, or guys that can run a little bit. If the fielder has to go left or right for it, you can beat the play out.
And that half field where you just saw the guys bunting is adjacent to the main field here at Bright House. And Ryan Sandberg and Sam Perlazzo, they've been working, Pete McCannon, they've been working on the guys bunting since spring training began. So Jimmy doing that from the right side. And, you know, one thing Charlie talked about is that when Rollins and Victorino are batting from the left side, they lay down a bunt up the third base line. It may be a sacrifice with a runner at second, or it could be a base hit with their speed.
Yeah, and 99.9% of the time with those two, they're on their own. It's just a situation to decide, you know, what it calls for.
1-2 the count to Victorino. Last year 17 home runs, 61 runs batted in. Left side, Nunez got a late start and it ate him up.
Yeah, he misjudged the hop. Anytime you're anytime you're any kind of infielder, the first thing you have to do instinctively is read the hop and decide whether you got to charge, lay back, if you caught it, try not to get caught in between. He misreads this hop right here. As you see, he hesitated, and now by the time he comes on, he can't make the play. That should be an error.
Well, he will not be the everyday shortstop for the New York Yankees, and they do have scored that in error. Derek Jeter, of course, fresh off his 3,000 hits a year ago, will be the starting shortstop, and Jeter will be in the lineup tomorrow when the Phillies head to Tampa to take on the Yankees. So runner at first, here's Hunter Pence. Set to begin his first full year in a Phil's uniform.
Nova's got some sink on that fastball.
Well, it's part of the reason why the Yankees were content to trade away A.J. Burnett once they received Michael Pineda from the Seattle Mariners, because they are high on Nova, and of course they're high on Phil Hughes as long as Hughes is healthy.
Here we're going to see another error.
Yankees are throwing the ball around, Wheels.
Yeah. Whitey used to say, boys, this is not a Spalding Guide game right now.
Joe Girardi with Tony Pena next to him.
That's a little tough one for a first baseman over there. Chavez, none of them could have caught it.
Even if all three were there?
Yeah, put any one of them over there. Even if he was playing like he used to at third, he wouldn't have caught it.
He's a Gold Glover over at third.
Well, he was good.
So runner at second. The count 1 ball and no strikes to Pence. Pence combined last year to hit 22 home runs, had 97 runs batted in. It was his best year batting average wise, and if the Phillies can get him to hit 314 every year, that's a huge boost.
Yeah, and he was hurt at the end of the year too. Nobody really knew it, but he had one of those sports hernia problems, and that he turned into an upper body swinger.
Outside 3-0.
Kind of like Polanco, you know, they really couldn't use their legs at the end of the year. You know, that everybody knows, we don't have to go into it too much, but you know, they didn't swing the bats real well in that Cardinal series.
No, in fact, I was in St. Louis earlier this week, and the fans reminded me of that.
Yes, I'm sure.
Got the green light, and that one with the wind. Oh, that could go out to Route 19. First home run of the spring off the bat of Hunter Pence. And it's 2-1 Phillies.
You can run up some runs here today. And these conditions are unbelievable for the hitters and awful for the pitchers.
Wheels mentioned that Pence, with that injury last year, was banged up in the postseason. He certainly didn't look banged up with that swing.
No, we know how he can hit balls out of the strike zone too and drive them the other way, and that's what he does there. That ball maybe had a chance to be a double. It's hard to tell, but today with the wind blowing out, it jumps out of the ballpark. It looked like a cut fastball watching it on there, or a slider just kind of hung out over the plate a little bit.
Here's Jim Thome. He got a great round of applause, and I think everywhere he's gone, as Pence is being congratulated, everywhere he's gone in spring training here in this complex, I mean, people have been cheering. And the Jim Thome T-shirt jerseys that people used to wear, they're a little faded right now, but people are wearing them again.
Well, it's just good to see him again. You know, he's fun to be around. He's got so much energy and enthusiasm. He likes to talk the game. And there's nobody happier to have him around than the guy he's going to run by right now, the manager. Well, they close, those two. Charlie is daddy to Jim Thome.
Well, here's another new addition for the Phillies, Ty Wigginton. Wigginton's had a pretty good career. First thought to be an extra man when he came up with the Mets, and then eventually played himself into being an everyday player, and now is a lifetime .268 hitter with 158 home runs.
It's one of those guys you'd be surprised if he really doesn't play a big part in the success of this team this year. You expect this team to be successful, and Ty Wigginton can play all over the place, and he can backleg some balls too and hit them out of the ballpark.
Well, he's behind, no balls and 2 strikes. Charlie Manuel has said that Wigginton will play third base, first base, and he might even play a little second base.
I think that's his best position in the infield, is second.
Well, there's no doubt they're going to want to give Chase Utley some days off if they can during the regular season. So between Michael Martinez, Ty Wigginton, you know, they can get some time. That's a mile-high pop-up. First base side, and this will be a tough one.
Oh, yeah.
Bill Hall, he did a heck of a job tracking that one. So Hall takes care of Wigginton, but Hunter Pence took care of the score. A 2-run opposite field home run. Here it is, folks. The first one of spring training, and the Phillies take a 2-1 lead into the second.
cake and Phillies. Nothing goes better.
I'll tell you, it's refreshing when you come back down to Clearwater every single year and you see this beautiful ballpark. It's reminiscent of the ballpark the Phillies have in Lakewood, New Jersey, where the Lakewood Blue Claws play, and it is a gorgeous sight. And we go to the top of the second. Russell Martin will lead it off. It'll be Martin, Eduardo Nunez, and Bill Hall against Cole Hamels.
About 82, 83 degrees here today. Just a beautiful afternoon for the fans.
Well, that's the way the weather's been down here. It's kind of like the way it's been in the east, where it's been so warm. It's been even warmer down here.
Little front tonight, and it'll be in the 60s here tomorrow for a day, and then back up into the 70s next week.
Want to know the count to Russell Martin. 237 hitter with 18 home runs, 65 runs batted in last year. And the Yankees dealt away their #1 catching prospect, Jesus Montero, to the Mariners to acquire Michael Pineda. Part of that was because of the year Martin had last year. But the Yankees, unlike other teams, they have an assortment of catching prospects that are on their way.
Yeah, they had them lined up there for a while. And to be able to trade and get a guy like Pineda, huge for them. Big time starter.
How about that changeup right there? So one away, and it's now time to welcome in the newest member of our broadcast crew. Everybody knows him from his work at Comcast Sportsnet. We're happy to have Greg Murphy with us. Murph, take it away, buddy.
Well, Tom, I'll tell you what, I'm happy to be here. And you guys promised me, you and Wheels promised me a room with a view, and you certainly have delivered. Wow.
Yeah, we can do that from time to time.
Yes, you can. And I'll tell you what, guys, I'm not the only one in baseball making a change in geography. In fact, some of baseball's biggest names have made changes this year, and probably none bigger than Albert Pujols. Of course, formerly of the St. Louis Cardinals, he has signed a 10-year contract with the Los Angeles Angels. He is headed out of the National League. That is good news. The Angels also landed C.J. Wilson. The lefty was an all-star last year. He is also headed out to Los Angeles. Another big bopper that is leaving the National League, Prince Fielder. He is headed to the American League to hit some home runs for the Detroit Tigers. But one guy the Phils will have to deal with is Jose Reyes. Yes, he is leaving New York, but he has just headed down to Florida, so he will stay in the National League East. So the Phils guys will still have to deal with them. Tom, Wheels, there are 4 of the guys that are moving around baseball, but I know you think some other guys are going to make some big contributions elsewhere.
Yeah, you know, Murph, it's interesting. I think that the traffic in baseball this year has been heavier. The movement has been heavier with the bigger name guys, and even the mid-range guys like Michael Kadire or Jason Kubel, guys like that from the Twins that have left to go to other teams. And I think it's kind of restructured some of these divisions too.
Yeah, no doubt about it. You know, you always wonder how a guy is going to fit in with his new club. Certainly a guy like Albert Pujols is going to make a difference out there in Los Angeles, but you never know when a guy is switching from team to team. So it'll be interesting to keep our eyes on some of these big guys and see what they do with their new team.
Well, it's going to make for an interesting year. You know, the Nationals too. I mean, we talk about Reyes and Mark Burley. And Heath Bell going to the Marlins, but you know, with the Nationals they have Gio Gonzalez, who came over from the Oakland A's. I mean, it's their rotation kind of looks a little different too.
Big time difference.
1 ball and 2 strikes the count to Bill Hall.
Now the Murph's gone. You know, we're obviously happy to have him here, but he better not rely on our promises too much.
Yeah, the rooms with the view we can't always do. Sarge might be able to.
Oh, yeah, Sarge can.
There's a foul tip by Bill Hall. So the count remains 1 ball and 2 strikes. Well, in reality, though, it's nice to have Murphy here. I mean, everybody knows his work at Comcast Sportsnet and Daily News Live and hosting the nightly sports reports and stuff like that. He does a great job, and you know, it began when he was at CN8. He worked his way through the system, and we're happy to have him here on our team. Little fly ball to shallow right. Hens coming in, and he dives, and he can't get it. He lost everything: his hat, his sunglasses, and it's a hit for Bill Hall.
Well, we'll talk about some of those key additions, and Tom mentioned a couple. You know, we were asked to pick 3 key additions. And you got 2 of mine right there.
There you go.
Gio Gonzalez, who will really, you know, in this division, you want to have left-handed starters against the Phillies especially. And I think he spells a big difference maker potential for the Florida Marlins. Now, that guy in the end, he's not a player.
No.
But they've tried everything else. You know, they tried a big-time manager in Lou Piniella, Dusty Baker. They brought in big-time free agents. They brought kids out of the farm system. They've done everything.
Yeah.
So figured why not? Maybe the general manager will turn it around.
Well, and I say that there's been a lot of traffic, and I guess it's the age we live in baseball, where guys, don't stay with teams. That's why it's great that Jimmy Rollins, who makes that play, was able to stay with the Phillies and could possibly finish his career in Philadelphia. Good first 2 innings for Cole Hamels. He's got a 2-1 lead as we go to the bottom of the 7th. Everybody knows the Phillies home opener on April 9th is sold out, but that doesn't mean you'll miss out on opening week. Tickets are available for games during the opening homestand, including great promotions and great rivals, including the new-look Miami Marlins. Go to Phillies.com for ticket information and to purchase your tickets today. Phillies will open up Citizens Bank Park with a 2-game exhibition against the Pittsburgh Pirates, who they will also see often here in spring training because Bradenton's not too far. And then they'll open up the season in Pittsburgh before they head home
and have the series at Citizens Bank Park with Pittsburgh. So if we don't know that club by the beginning of the season, not paying attention. Of course, we all thought that A.J. Burnett, of course, would be the opening day pitcher for the Pirates. That's not happening.
No, he's going to be out for quite some time with a cracked orbital bone.
Yeah, that's really a shame what happened to him.
Here's John Mayberry Jr. Now, Mayberry is playing first base today, and quite frankly, he probably will play first base often until Ryan Howard comes back. Charlie Manuel has mentioned during spring training that they're going to piece together first base until Ryan returns, which is unlikely to be the first month of the year. And although Mayberry, the thought would be in left field, he's a darn good first baseman, and they have some depth out in the outfield that they can utilize in left for the time being. Charlie likes John Mayberry, though, and he likes the way he's worked and has gotten himself better and got himself in that more athletic stance that he talks about.
Well, they think they have a more versatile bench this year with the potential for some power off it, too. Obviously, losing Ryan Howard is huge. And you don't know how long the big guy's going to be gone, but you can't worry about it. It's Charlie, he never makes excuses about, he says, if I don't have a guy, I can't worry about that. I can only play what I have. And that's one of the reasons why, they've gone out and gotten some other guys that maybe fill in the blanks.
Breaking ball down and away. 1 ball and 2 strikes to Mayberry. John, last year, as you saw, 15 home runs, 49 runs batted in.
Well, he gets one up in the wind. Look out, Tiki Bar.
Look out, Carpenter Complex.
Yeah, look out, cars in the parking lot out there.
No, he didn't pull it to left. He looped it to right. And Nick Swisher's under it. For the first time in a handful of years, the Phillies have a number of new faces. And part of the that contingent is right there. You see Lance Nix, Juan Pierre looks great. Scott Pasenik, who was banged up last year, but man, he can run. And of course, Tomey and Ty Wigginton, who we've talked about.
Well, that's what I mean about versatility. Look at Nix, Tomey, Wigginton. They have power. The other two guys have some speed and can do things. Now, they're all probably not going to make the club. You don't have many bench spots on the team. But they're versatile, and if they go to AAA and play down there, you have some inventory to draw on.
Speaking of inventory, Dominic Brown last year 5 home runs in 56 games with the Phillies. He's come into camp looking to earn the everyday job in left field.
Yeah, with a realization that he's probably going to be in Lehigh Valley when the season begins, and he needs to just play and get back to the prospect that many people, not only in this organization but all around baseball, felt he was.
0-2 the count to him. I was at many a dinner this offseason with Ruben Amaro, and he was asked about Dominic Brown. He said, honestly, I did the kid an injustice. You know, he should have stayed in the minor leagues all of last year, and we needed another bat. We needed some legs, and we may have rushed him to the big leagues. I thought that was kind of interesting.
Well, Ruben's very honest about things. You know, he said, well, I probably shouldn't trade a Cliff Lee either, but I did. You know, and when you watch Philippe Aumont this spring, that's another guy we'll talk about. He was in that lead deal, and boy, does he have some tools.
This could be a tough play for Bill Hall, and Dominic Brown looked like he was right there, but the throw beat him by a hair.
Nice play by Bill Hall.
Batting eighth, the catcher, number 31, Eric Kratz.
Well, that's one part of the game that Dominic can bring. That's his speed.
Yeah, he's a plus runner. I mean, your infielder there, everything has to be perfect.
Good call.
He was out. Veteran, who's down there? Tom Hallion right now. Been around a long time. Good umpire.
2 outs. Here's Eric Kratz. 15 home runs in the minors last year. Jason Nix from behind the bag throws high, and Kratz, as tall as he is able to duck under the throw. Eric Kratz has slimmed down a little bit from last year. He's one of the biggest catchers you will ever meet.
Yeah, he is big.
And a great guy.
And from the Philadelphia area.
Well, they've scored that an error, so that's the 3rd error of the game for the Yankees.
Yeah, this has to be an error. Plenty of time for Nix there to just pick it up and throw out a slow runner. No offense, he is a catcher. So the odds are he's not going to run real well.
Going to get catchers upset, Wills.
I think most of them understand. Most of them.
2 outs. Michael Martinez, the hitter. Martinez, a switch hitter, Rule 5 selection, played all of last year with the Phillies. Just couldn't get over the 200 mark at the end of the year. He was getting some at-bats in the month of August, and that's when his average kind of dipped down a little bit.
He's throwing around a little bit here this afternoon. Quick 3 errors on the board.
Gonna have to go back to Tampa and work on that.
I don't think Joe will be that worried about it right away. You look and see who makes the errors, and then you decide whether it worries you or not.
Pretty good off-speed pitch by Nova, and it's no balls and 2 strikes. Yankees have a handful of young pitching prospects. Nova's one of them, who won 16 games last year, but there are a couple of others that may pitch in today's ballgame. 0-2 the count to Martinez. And a strikeout for Nova, so the Phillies leave one over at first. No runs, no hits, 1 error by the Yankees, 1 man left. When we This has become a great tradition for baseball fans in the Philadelphia area, season ticket holders. Ruben Amaro Jr. was surprising Ray and Adele DiCrescenzo, 91 and 90 years old, young, on Valentine's Day, and presenting them with their Phillies season tickets. Pretty impressive stuff. And there's Ray talking about his favorite Philly players. Utley, right off the bat, Utley. Well, speaking of Phillies players, pretty strong 2 innings for Cole Hamels, and he's down with Murph. Murph, take it away.
All right, thank you very much, T-Mac. Yeah, with Cole Hamels, and so first 2 innings in the book in spring, and I'd imagine that as the spring goes on, you guys like playing these games. You've got 2 innings in now. Most important question: how did you feel out there?
No, I felt really good. I think anytime you're getting all your work in, the first part of spring, getting into the game is something a little bit extra. So you definitely just want to be in good shape and know that you can go out there and just focus on throwing strikes, and that's kind of what I was able to do, is just to go out and get ahead of hitters. I got a couple guys on, so I was able to get some good work from the stretch too. So I feel really good, and it's just nice to kind of get that one out of the way.
Yeah, that's the thing. Spring training games is less about the box score and more about getting yourself ready for when you do head north, right? So are you working on anything in particular?
Just getting physically in the right type of pitching shape. It's something you can't simulate. Guys stepping into the box and having to add a little bit extra on certain pitches. That's kind of the thing that you don't get that in the bullpen. So when you get the guys out and you try to just work as much as possible on throwing good pitches and really executing.
You look around this ballpark, it's going to be like this in Philadelphia as well. Expectations surround this team, but that's pretty much the way you guys like it, right?
Oh, of course. I think the past couple of years has been great. Just when you're able to really get the fans coming down here and getting the excitement, it's fun to play here, and it just gets you ready to go up north, just because there's even more excitement up there. And when things really matter, I think every one of us kind of really pulls it together and gives it everything that we have. So we're just excited just to have the fans be able to be out here and enjoy themselves.
All right, Cole Hamels, thank you very much. 2 innings in the books for Cole Hamels here in spring training. T-Mac, back upstairs to you.
All right, Greg, thank you, and our thanks to Cole, and our late congratulations to Cole and his wife Heidi. They welcomed their 2nd child this past October, Braxton Grady. It was kind of neat to talk to Cole about that the other day, and how exciting it is to have the 2 boys roaming around as Dave Bush records his first strikeout.
And it's a little comeback sinker that we see Vance Worley throw so well, and a lot of right-handed pitchers try to come up with a pitch that will paralyze a left-handed hitter, and it was a good job with that one.
Dave Bush's numbers last year: 1 loss, no wins, a 5.79 earned run average, and he is from Conestoga High School.
Yeah, he came 5 outs away from pitching a no-hitter against the Phillies at Citizens Bank Park, and Matt Stairs hit one down the line and was just fair. He won the ball game, but did not get the no-no.
That ball is up in the wind. Brown back to the wall, and no chance. Curtis Granderson has an opposite field home run. He's 2 for 2, and we're all tied up at 2. That ball looked like it was in on his hands.
Hey, it's one of those things today. You're gonna have a lot of balls that are hitting the air going to be home runs here today. It's going to be one of those spring training type games. So the guys that get out of there without giving up fly balls, they're the ones that are going to have the most luck. That pitch is up in the zone, as you see there, about belt high, and he didn't hit it real well, but he got it in the air, and balls in the air are going to fly.
So tied up at 2. Nick Swisher with his 2nd at bat. Chopper over to first. Easy play from Mayberry, who looks so fluid at first.
Now see, the wind doesn't do a whole lot with those.
I was wondering on that chopper that was hit toward Bill Hall if maybe it would move a little bit.
And you get away with those. You sink it like that, you get outs.
Well, Granderson and Hunter Pence both have homered this afternoon for their respective clubs. Dave Bush last year did pitch in the Phillies organization. He was at Lehigh Valley for 4 starts late in the year. 1-2 with a 3.91 earned run average. He's been with the Blue Jays, the Brewers, the Texas Rangers, and he's trying to add some depth to the Phillies starting rotation down in the minor leagues. As Raul Ibanez, who doubled home the first run for the Yankees, is up.
He beat the Phillies in a playoff game a few years ago at Milwaukee. Here the Phillies won 3 out of 4. Beat the Brewers in that series. He won the 1 game, game number 3.
Off the hands. And Bush will take care of Ibanez, and that takes care of the Yankees. So the home run by Granderson ties the ball game up at 2 apiece. No, 1 run. Baseball is brought to you by Thomas Jefferson University Hospital. Call 1-800-JEF now for an appointment. Oh, we're tied up at 2. First spring training game of the 2012 season. And speaking of spring training games and beyond, subscribe to... I'm going to get it out, Wheels. Subscribe to MLB.TV Premium today and get over 150 select spring training games with no blackouts and every regular season game live or on demand on your favorite devices. Visit Phillies.com for details.
We'll do that, right?
Yeah, I've already done it.
Yeah, me too.
2 runs, 4 hits, 3 errors for the Yankees. Phillies with 2 runs on the home run by Hunter Pence. Then we go to the bottom of the 3rd. Top of the order is due up. David Phelps is the new pitcher for the Yankees. Phelps is entering the top 10 in prospects in the Yankees organization. "25 years old, out of St. Louis, Missouri. Rollins struck out his first time up, and the count is even 1 ball and 1 strike. Broke his bat. Slowly hit. Phelps has got it. 1 away.
Well, we had a chance a little bit earlier about key additions to different organizations, and the 3 that I kind of liked. How about you, Tommy?
Well, I like Michael Kadire. He's to me a huge acquisition for the Rockies. Now, I don't know how much he's going to help the Rockies because I still think they're a few players away. But in that ballpark, with the numbers he put up in Minnesota, in a big ballpark, I think he's going to have a good year. And Kubel, he's a jack of all trades. So I think the Diamondbacks are only a few players away. So that kind of player, I think, can really help them. And then you and I saw Pineda last year with the Mariners when he played the Phillies. I know Jesus Montero is one of the big prospects for the Yankees, but man, if you can get that kind of arm and slot him in as the 3rd or 4th starter, then you've made a heck of a deal. Young.
Big, tall, hard-throwing pitcher. We were really impressed with him in that game in Seattle last year. So that was I'm sure they hated to give up Montero, but as you say, to get a guy like Pineda, big-time move.
Well, and think about it. Is he better than A.J. Burnett? Yeah, even though he's younger.
Oh, yeah.
So the Yankees' rotation's gotten better.
Now, of course, you don't know how he handles New York, and that's different. You go pitch in New York, Boston, Philadelphia, different atmospheres. You got to have a temperament for that.
2-2 the count to Victorino. Phillies had been rumored to been in the conversation for Kadire. In fact, I believe he visited Philadelphia. There were some discussions about it, but I think he was looking for a little extra change based on his years that he had with the Minnesota Twins.
Yeah, and as you say, he's a nice addition for Colorado.
3-2 the count to Victorino. Shane reached on an error his first time up and then scored on the home run by Pence. Anderson hadn't played perfectly, even with the wind. He had to compensate for a moment. But there are 2 outs. The actor, Shane Victorino, Wheels.
Yeah. Boy, they really got on him about that. And the director's chair, they had lights leading up to a star. It was a combined effort of Phillies clubhouse guy and travel director Frank Koppenbarger and Jimmy Rollins.
Yeah.
They really were needling him about that.
Victorino appeared in a Hawaii 5-0 episode a couple weeks ago.
What kind of ball could Pence hit today if he pulls one to left field?
I don't know. The one he hit to right center field was pretty good.
Right. Anything away when he pulls balls in batting practice, where they go.
It was windy during BP today, but not like this.
No. Well, like we said, there's a little front coming through here tonight. It'll make it colder, so you got heavy winds here this afternoon. But it's warm. It's really nice. 82.
Larry Anderson had Sarge convinced that the 82 and 84 that was popping up on the scoreboard the other day was the velocity on the pitchers.
Right. Sarge said, how hard do you think he's throwing? Larry looked up at the boy. When I 82. Sarge, what, he's throwing harder than that, isn't he? That was doing the Florida State game.
Swing and a miss. There's some high cheese from Phelps. It's a 1-2-3 third inning. We've completed our first 3 here in Clearwater. It's the Phillies 2. Season right around the corner. Friday, April 13th, the New York Mets are in town. It's part of a 3-game series, and on the 14th, it's Turkey Hill Kids Opening Day, a free Charlie Manuel commemorative baseball for fans 14 and under. Go to Phillies.com to purchase your tickets and check out the promotional calendar for the entire year. Dave Bush is second inning in relief of Cole Hamels, who threw 25 pitches through the first 2. It'll be Eric Chavez, Russell Martin, and Eduardo Nunez against Bush. Gary Matthews joins us in the booth. Sarge, welcome to spring training.
Thank you very much. Thought Cole Hamels had that changeup down and where he actually wanted the ball. That's what it's all about in spring training, just that control.
1-2 the count to Chavez.
The pitchers are always able to get that breaking ball over. Hitters looking for the fastball early on. That breaking ball has a tendency to give them a little trouble.
There it is again on the outside corner. He came from the side a little bit. So 1 away here in the 4th. All right, so we both have been here for about a week or so. What are your impressions?
Well, actually, though, I like some of the guys, especially their approach, or they're going to be trying I should say, to have a different approach. Working the count remains to be seen. A little more difficult for some of the guys like a Hunter Pence. He's a free swinger. Although you pitch to him, it's going to be trouble. But all the guys are really in great shape.
That's what Ruben said yesterday, that, you know, Victorino's in great shape, which he always is anyway.
Yeah.
Rollins is lighter. Thome looks unbelievable.
Right.
There's a high chopper to short. Speaking of Jimmy Rollins, and there are 2 outs. Well, you brought up the point of the approach, because that's been a topic of conversation. People always say that you can't change Bobby Knight's personality because he's been Bobby Knight for all his life. What about hitters? I mean, how hard is it to change the approach?
Well, what I think Charlie's talking about, especially the hitting counts, 2-0, 2-1, 3-1. These are the counts the hitters want to get to, but more importantly, you want to make sure that that ball is down in your zone where you can almost hit the ball out of that ballpark, if you will.
I thought he had a great comment yesterday. He said, guys, if it's 2-0, 3-1, 3-0, you've boxed the pitcher in. It's your advantage. It's not his advantage.
Nowhere to go. But a lot of times guys don't take advantage of that simply because they don't know exactly what they're trying to do when they're up at the plate. Scoreboard always dictates what you're going to do when you're up at the plate.
No balls, 1 strike the count to Eduardo Nunez. Just missed off the outside corner.
Late in the game, score tie. Power hitters are going to try and hit the ball out. Guys with speed want to try and get on any way they can.
Well, we'll talk about that speed when the Phillies are up, because I know there are a couple of guys that they've picked up that you like. So we'll get into that when the Phillies offense is rolling around. We may even see a couple of those guys as this game moves on. Here's the 2-1 pitch. At the knees, 2-2. One guy we may see next on the mound is Jonathan Papelbon, who is warming up in the pen.
Got the relievers. They're always going maybe that 1 inning. Starters will be 2. They'll try and build it up over the course of spring training as they get strong. There's Papelbon. Quite a character.
Another play for Jimmy Rollins. This time he has to hurry a little bit and just gets Eduardo Nunez. So pretty clean 2 innings for Dave Bush. He allows a run on 1 home. Phillies baseball is brought to you by the Quality Plus Ford stores. Tied at 2 as we go to the bottom of the 4th. Gorgeous day here in Clearwater, Florida. We hope you're enjoying your weekend back home in Philadelphia or wherever you're watching the Phillies and the Yankees. The first game of the 2012 spring training schedule.
Hello, beautiful. How
and
are
there's Jim Thome digging in. Thome grounded out his first time up. Sarge, did you ever think you would hear Jim Thome say that he was going to do yoga and that he did it during the offseason to get himself ready to play first base?
Well, needs to. A little bit stiff as he's trying to get back to playing first base.
Can he play first base once, twice a week, maybe?
This is his goal, to be able to do just that. You know that eventually he's going to be able to hit. But I think with the way that Ryan, the little bit of setback that Ryan Howard has had, having a Tommy, definitely does give them the threat in that lineup, power-wise. He hits a line drive caught by Billy Hall.
Well, that was a sinking line drive. Let's hear from Jim Thome about the return to Philadelphia.
The bar has been set very high in Philadelphia. That's what intrigued me on coming back, was getting that chance to, first of all, be with a bunch of guys that are winners, coming back with somebody that I've known for a long time in Charlie, and then the history, the fans, the organization. It was a special time in my life when I got the opportunity to come here and be a part of Philadelphia. As it was when I went back to Cleveland. You always kind of think about, hey, are you ever going to get a chance to go back to a place you played? And when it came up over the winter that they called, it was really a great situation.
Part of the thought process for Charlie Manuel and Ruben Amaro to bring Jim Thome back is not only because they think he can help and be a presence off the bench and possibly play a little first base while Ryan Howard's on the DL, is because they wanted somebody that was upbeat, that talked baseball all the time, and maybe that could rub off on some of the young players.
Well, he certainly does that. He does talk quite a bit about hitting, and it's good because you need to be able to have that approach. And Tome's one of those guys that hit 2-0, 2-1, but more importantly, knew what he wanted to do with that ball before he actually got it. Good hit.
That's a breaking ball that Wigginton serves into right. So David Phelps had retired the first 4 he faced. And Wigginton has his first hit.
Oh, that's just really good to see. You're going to need right-handers being able to hit that ball. Ty has a reputation of hitting line drives. Like Charlie says, though, you got to be able to play good defense, but really good to have a player of his attitude as well coming over. They do a good job at bringing guys over with great attitudes.
Well, here's John Mayberry. Fly to right his first time up, but he takes a strike. It's 0-1.
Talk with Charlie a little bit about Mayberry and being able to be a little more aggressive, and that's exactly the pitch there that you're talking about, and you can use that as a 2-0 pitch. You're going up, but you got to be ready that first pitch.
Now, when they talk about him being aggressive early, is it because he's like a lot of players, he can hit the fastball, and then every so often he has a difficult time with the other stuff?
Everybody does. Everybody does. Bobby Bonds did the same thing. Great fastball getter. Throw him a breaking ball and couldn't touch it.
There's a ground to short. That could be 2. There's 1, and there's 2. 6-4-3 double play. Pretty good outing by 25-year-old David Phelps. 2 clean innings. We head on to the 5th here in Clearwater. Tied at 2 as we go to the top of the 5th, and as is normally the case in spring training, we have some changes, and it begins with a guy on the mound. He's the biggest acquisition this offseason for the Philadelphia Phillies, and it's right-hander Jonathan Papelbon, 31-year-old out of Baton Rouge, Louisiana. 219 career saves, and last year he saved 31 games, a 2.94 earned run average. And Sergeant, the Phillies were looking for an electric closer. They have found an electric closer.
I tell you what I like about him already, after all, I mean, he's not scared for number one, but as a hitter, he hides the ball well. So, I mean, it's very difficult to pick him up. He throws the ball hard, decent breaking ball, and again, you got to have hard skin there when you're a closer, because there are games you got to really be able to bounce back on that maybe didn't turn out so well for you.
And hard skin in Boston. And we asked Jonathan, why Philadelphia?
Well, I think for me, biggest thing is coming to a clubhouse where I was going to fit in, and you know, playing against those guys for the last 4 or 5 years. You know, you look across in their dugout and you see nothing but a bunch of grinders, and you know, for me, that was the biggest reason.
Well, he certainly is in tune with the Phillies clubhouse, because they are grinders, and it's a great clubhouse, and it has been for the last 8-9 years. There's Hector Luna, who takes over third base for the Phillies, one of a handful of changes. We begin the top of the 5th. Bill Hall is the batter, and the first pitch taken low, 1 ball and no strikes. Hall reached on a single his first time up. Folks were wondering about the at-bat against Cole Hamels, because if you recall last year when the Phillies played up at Kissimmee, he and Cole got into a little bit of a shouting match. Hall was wrong. Here's Mayberry. What a play. How about that? Mayberry with his back to the infield. Over the shoulder grab. 1 out.
Well, one of the reasons Charlie thinks he'll be able to play first base. John's a good athlete. He makes an adjustment on the pop-up. Wind blowing here. Take another look at it as his back's against that ball there. That's always a tough play, though, for any fielder running to catch up with that ball.
That's not an easy play.
Well, you got the sun up there. You got that wind blowing. It's a good play.
1 away for Jason Nix. Nix grounded to shortstop his first time up. Yankees don't have a lot of openings on their roster.
No.
You know, guys like, Jason Nix, who played with Toronto last year for 46 games. It'll be tough for him to make the club. But they return their everyday lineup pretty much. I mean, Jorge Posada's retired, but they've got folks to fill in for him.
Yeah, I think it'll be hard for Billy Hall to make this club, too. I mean, you got to be able to play shortstop, I would think.
Fly ball to center. There's Tyson Gillies. Sunglasses on. Socks high. 2 outs. And that's the slowest you'll see Tyson Gillies move all day. Right there.
Oh, he can run.
Scott Pasetnik is in right field.
Another guy that can run. Veteran runner.
Dominic Brown remains in fact, this is probably the fastest outfield the Phillies have had in a long time. Dominic Brown, Tyson Gillies, and Scott Pasetnik. Although the one they have starting today, pretty quick, with Pence, Victorino, and Dominic Brown. Here's Brett Gardner up for the 3rd time. He's 0 for 2. Papelbon looks like he's got pretty good life on that fastball right now.
Well, that's what you like. Pitchers coming in, throwing the fastball. They like to stay ahead of the hitters, and when they do, they don't have to throw a strike in order to get them out. Go outside, you can bounce one.
Papelbon is a 4-time All-Star. He also won a World Series with the Red Sox back in 2007. He got the final out of that series against the Cardinals.
And one of the reasons he won't be nervous coming into Philadelphia simply because of pitching in Boston.
I should say against the Rockies. But you're right about that. I think it helps. Terry Francona was here yesterday, and he did an interview with Papelbon, and he said before that interview, he said, "You're going to love him." He said, "You're absolutely going to love him." I don't get the whole Cinco Ocho thing, Sarge, but I guess we'll hear more about that as his year goes on and his career goes on.
As long as he's getting guys out, that's all you can really care about.
It's his alter ego, he says.
Oh boy. He's got that look at him when you're looking at him as that hitter when that ball's coming in. It is not a friendly look at all.
Well, he can't see this one. It's right around the mound, and Luna, oh boy, he juggled it, but then was able to hang on. And the side is retired. A lot of times they tell a pitcher to get out of the way, but when a pitcher doesn't see it, then they really do want them to get out of the way. But Hector Luna came over from third base, bottom of the mound, made the the bottom of the fifth. Maybe stop along the Diamond Club Cafe for a bite to eat or a cold beverage. Yankees have made a number of changes. We'll get to those in a moment. But first, let's go down to Greg Murphy. Murph, take it away.
All right, thank you very much, Tom. Dave Bush's day is done. A couple innings of work. I just asked you in the commercial break, how'd you feel out there? What were you working on?
Felt good. Mostly just trying to work on all my pitches and throw strikes. First time I faced hitters in live situations since the end of last year. So just trying to get comfortable back out in the mound and get my work in and start building up arm strength.
His second year with this organization and down there in AAA last year, and working towards a roster spot obviously this year. How's it been so far for you as you have the eye on the prize?
I'm not thinking about that a whole lot right now. I'm just trying to get in shape at this point. In the beginning of spring, there's a lot of work in the backfields, and then it's good to get out here and actually get some game situations. But it's a long way off the start of the year, so I'm not really thinking that far ahead right now.
You look around this ballpark, it's always filled here at spring training nowadays, certainly up in Philadelphia. You're a Philadelphia guy, right? Outside of Philadelphia, you went to Conestoga High School. I imagine you grew up rooting for this team, and do you ever imagine it'd be quite like this, the way this organization has turned out?
I did grow up rooting for Phillies, for sure. It's been a lot of years going to games at the Vet back when I was little. But, yeah, it's been fun. It was fun last year. It's kind of a unique opportunity, so I'm trying to make the most of it.
We talked about this a little bit at the top of the game here. There's changes happening in the postseason. You're very involved with the Major League Baseball Players Association as a player's rep. The postseason is changing, adding a team in each league, a wild card team. What did you gauge the other players and what they thought about that? What was the overall thinking of that?
We spent a lot of time in the winter talking about that, trying to get the feel for what players wanted and what we could make work. And I'm not going to say it was unanimous, but the consensus was that adding another wild card team and having those two teams play to get into the playoffs was pretty well received. So it was something that we worked on, starting way back in the fall, but it took a bit of time to get the TV schedule right and to make sure the games would fit. There's a lot of complications to go with adding another game in the playoffs. So we had some small details to work out, but I think for the most part players are really for it, and I think it's going to make for some exciting playoff games.
The bottom line being that if a team finishes in second place in their division but has a better record, they're going to get in the postseason this year.
Yeah, I mean, the goal was to reward the teams that finished first in their divisions. The last couple of years have been some wild card teams that really didn't matter if they won their division or not, and so we were trying to put a little more emphasis on
taking the 162 games and winning your division. If you can't do that, there's still an opportunity to get in the playoffs, but you have to work a little bit harder.
All right, should be interesting. Dave, good luck to you as well. Thanks for stopping by. Dave Bush, 2 innings in the books. Tom, back upstairs.
Yeah, Murph, it's been pretty good for the pitchers today for the Phillies. Cole Hamels, 2 innings. Dave Bush, 2 innings. And Jonathan Papelbon, 1 inning. Dominic Brown is locked into a pretty good battle here with Manny Banuelos for the Yankees. 20-year-old from Monterrey, Mexico. He excited a lot of Yankee fans and front office members last year with a brilliant outing against the Boston Red Sox late in the spring. And they think this kid is going to be a big-time pitcher in the major leagues.
If you're able to get that off-speed pitch over and hit those corners, you'll do just fine.
Well, he finally wins the battle with Dominic Brown. Banuelos grew up a Yankee fan and grew up a Derek Jeter fan. He's not the only newcomer on the field. Jorge Vasquez is over at first base. And the second baseman is Corbin Joseph. Eduardo Nunez still at shortstop. And we'll get to some of the other changes in just a moment. Eric Kratz is the batter, and he takes a breaking ball for a strike, and it's no balls and 1 strike to Kratz, who reached on an error his first time up.
Well, it's a young player. You don't know how many at-bats you're going to get. So when you get your at-bats, you really want to show something. Doesn't always have to be a hit. Just a quality at-bat, hitting the ball hard, showing what you can do, going the other way. And those are some of the things that Charlie Manuel, manager, is looking for.
1-1 the count to Kratz. Think about last year. Charlie pointed this out. Over 500 at-bats for the utility players.
Yeah.
So guys that may not make the roster out of spring training still could be used down the road. We always talk about that, but how about that though? Over 500 at-bats from the utility players.
And I tell you, Ruben talked about that yesterday, Amaro, about just that. You got to bring in guys that that can do the job. At least you hope if someone goes down and they can do the job. And all those guys, they filled in well.
3-1 the count to Eric Kratz.
Hard to keep everybody healthy. That #1 team for 162 ball games. That's why you need guys on the bench that can fill in. And when they come in and do their thing, it makes it easier for that everyday player to ease back in there.
Ball's hit sharply toward the hole, cut off by Brandon Laird. And there are 2 outs. Well, Greg Murphy talked to Dave Bush about some of the changes that will be made at the end of this year for the postseason. The addition of a wild card team, so 10 total teams will reach the postseason. 2 wild card teams will meet in a 1-game playoff, and then the 5-game National League Division Series will start at home of the lower seeds. That's in 2012 only. Sarge, what are your thoughts about adding another team in each league to the postseason?
Well, it just gives teams that maybe had a decent year, or really a good year, that could actually get in there. And you look at St. Louis last year, good example. They got hot at the right time, needed maybe 1 game where we would have had Atlanta in there. And when that happens, there's just no stopping. That momentum has a lot to do with teams winning and losing.
So 1 ball and 1 strike the count to Michael Martinez. Ground ball to shortstop Nunez. Easy play this time, and it's a 1-2-3 5th inning for Banuelos. And we have completed our first 5 here in Clearwater. That dugout's awfully crowded. fan. Show it by visiting the CSN shop and picking up all your official sports gear. Get this, all orders over $75 shipped for free. Visit the shop, csnphilly.com now. 5 of the books. Yes, the Fanatic is here. Fanatic's always at the big game, Sarge.
Everywhere, just everywhere. Puts on a great show.
Fanatic getting one of the security guys to do a little surfing.
Have you ever surfed?
I have not. I've not surfed. No. You?
Try that.
I don't know if you want to see me on a surfboard. I'm not sure if the surfboard would stay afloat. So.
I was talking about body surfing.
No. Here's Dontrell Willis. Yes, it's the same Dontrell Willis who the Phillies hope will be a situational left-hander this year. Last year with the Reds, 1-6, a 5 earned run average. He has been rather quiet so far this spring, but that's because he's trying to earn a job.
Almost too hard. He just got to let it go. Let it just come out, hit his spots.
This is a guy that has an effervescent personality. Dwayne Wise, who was in spring training with the Phillies before. It's a soft grounder to second. Kevin Franzen in for Michael Martinez. Well, there's no doubt that Dontrell Willis at one point was one of the premier left-handers in the National League, but it hasn't been the same since those first few years, Sarge.
No, and it hasn't. A lot has to do, they think, with his mechanics. You know, a lot will have to do with just being mental. You know, you go from being on top of your game, all of a sudden now you can't find it. It has to be really difficult for him, but hard work, you can get yourself back.
Here's Cole Garner, who is the new right fielder for the Yankees, up for the first time. Free agent acquisition during the offseason. Last year in AAA, in the Pacific Coast League, he had .330. Now, they've tried everything with Dontrell since his days with the Florida Marlins, even, you know, the end of those days with the Marlins. And the Phillies feel like he could be a situational left-hander because, let's face it, you're a lefty up there against him. He's a big guy. He's all arms and legs, and he's scary when he's on.
Well, the key, though, he needs to be able to get that breaking ball and consistently throw strikes in order for the hitters not to just lay on one particular pitch. He starts to fall behind, then they can just lay on his fastball, which nowadays not going to just get it by him. There's a good pitch. Here's the breaking ball that I'm talking about. And when you're able to throw that even back in the count, getting ahead, throwing it out of the zone, that's what you want that situational left-hander to be able to do.
Well, his fastball looks like it still has some pretty good giddy up on it.
Yeah, almost for me, though, looks like he's just aiming the ball instead of letting it go. You know, before early on, all the movement he used to have on the ball, and he threw a little bit harder. But the key for any pitcher, whether or not he throws hard, soft, you got to be able to throw quality strikes.
There's a liner to left field. Juan Pierre just over his glove. And that's going to allow Garner to pull in his second with a one-out double. Juan Pierre just entered the ball game along with Willis.
Pretty good hitting right here. There's an off-speed pitch, but again, just up in the zone. Those are those pitches that you really want to bury down in the dirt if you can. Have that hitter swing over it. No chance, though, for Juan Pierre in left field. That ball, just a bullet over his head.
So now Ibanez with one out and a runner at second. And a fastball inside to Raul, and Eric Kratz is going to go out and talk to Willis. Well, Sarge, Greg Murphy, myself, Wheels, we've been talking about some of the key additions around Major League Baseball. Let's take a look at your key additions for this year.
Well, obviously, you can see the guys that I had on there. There's Darvish there in Texas. That's a big acquisition, I think. Cepeda's right there in Oakland. Whether or not he's going to be able to hit the way that he should. And in New York, when you come with the reputation of hitting, you get boos real quick about Raul Ibanez going and getting ready to try and have a good season there in New York.
So you think he's a big acquisition for the Yankees?
Well, I really do. You know, just to be steady. They're looking for steady play the same way that we did. Good at bats, you know, good in the clubhouse. You know, a guy that's certainly not going to have to maybe play every day, but we've seen him get some big hits for us, really, just over the course of the years that he was with the Fighting Phils.
And how about that short porch that Joe Girardi's been, you know, so accustomed to seeing at Yankee Stadium? Will that help Ibanez?
It's got to help him, and he can pull the ball, and we've seen that. But more so, though, he's getting a little bit long, and he's been getting jammed as of late, and pitchers do pitch him inside.
Well, he's got the count even, 2 balls and 2 strikes against Dontrelle Willis.
Just a quality guy to have on
No
your
doubt.
team.
Yep, no doubt about that. Eric Kratz, that one's going to blow right into fair territory. Dontrelle Willis is a tremendous athlete.
No doubt.
And he just showed it right there.
No doubt. He actually was getting out of the way, looked around, knew no one was around the ball, and he goes and gets it. That's one of the things, though, that Dontrelle can do. Pretty good hitter, good athlete, as you mentioned. Now take a look at this. They always tell the pitchers, get out of the way, get out of the way. He doesn't really see it. He's trying to point direct direction. Now I see it. No one around. Believe me, that ball is going to fall in. Pitchers that get pop-ups, Jamie Moyer said it best. He works hard for that pop-up. He wants to see it caught.
Look at what said. Well, he and Charlie Manuel, Pete McKenna, they're all laughing. That Kratz started out right at the plate. And really, that's where the ball was. And then the wind just blew it back toward the mound.
That's not a fun situation to be in. And that ball drops and you're nowhere around it. It's funny, though, when you're not the one with the glove.
They used to laugh at you, Sergeant?
Oh, I tell you, all the time. Larry Boyle right away used to try and point no matter where the ball was when you were playing in Candlestick. You can imagine the wind blowing a lot harder than it would here today.
Well, plus that sky. I mean, it's a gorgeous day, but it's a sort of a light blue. Lose the ball almost immediately.
Well, this is a hitter's type day. You got the wind blowing out. Hitters love to hit in this kind of weather. Warm, wind blowing out.
Jorge Vasquez shoots that one foul. Vasquez had a pretty good spring last year for the Yankees. There's that win that Sarge is talking about.
The Yankees, another one of those ball clubs that always seem to get quality players on their club, meaning having good attitudes. Think about winning as opposed to personal stats.
Well, this is a guy who has an outside chance of making the roster in some capacity. But we'll see. As we said, there's not a lot of spots left open on the Yankee roster for certain players. The MVP of the 2011 Caribbean World Series. Hits that one through the hole on the right side, a base hit. Around third, heading for home is Joseph. The throw by Posednik. Just a little late, and it's a 3-2 Yankee lead.
Yeah, for you youngsters out there, when you're in the outfield, you want to really get that ball down if you can. Ball can be cut off, and then you can get that runner. When you throw it up high, that's the cue for that runner just to keep on going. Get that ball down a little bit more where you can get that fielder. Now, there's the base hit. Now, he's coming in there as he's stopping. You got to get it down a little bit lower. Well, to his credit, there's no cutoff man that is actually there. Usually there's a cutoff man where you get that ball down, at least be able to cut that ball off.
Yeah, John Mayberry dove for the ball, so maybe that's why he was a little delayed getting over to be the cutoff man. So Vasquez is at second. It's 3-2 Yankees here in the top of the sixth. They probably won't allow Willis to go that much deeper just because they're trying to get him ready to be a situational guy. And this early on in spring training, they don't want to pile on the pitch count.
Well, keep in mind, too, they're just trying to get him innings and throwing his pitches. don't want to overdo it the first day.
One and two the count. Dontrell Willis from Jimmy Rollins' neck of the woods in Northern California. That wasn't a bad pitch.
Good area.
Willis is still the all-time leader, at least at the start of this year, in wins in Marlins history, but Ricky Nolasco's closing. 3-2 the count to Russell Martin.
And when he had that success, he was coming right at the hitters. He would jam a lot of hitters, get hitters to swing at the ball in the dirt. He threw a little harder, like I mentioned, than he does right now, but still can be effective.
Outside, ball 4. So the first walk of the day for Willis, and the Yankees have runners on first and second. Well, Dontrell Willis's first team, the Chicago Cubs, are coming to town Friday, April 27th at 7:05. It's the start of a 4-game series, and it concludes on Monday the 30th with a Hatfield Dollar Dog Night at the ballpark. And squeezed inside there is the Citizen Bank Fanatics birthday celebration. Get your tickets now by going to Phillies.com. You can check out the promotional schedule. There are a lot of great promotional items, and we're going to preview those items a little later on in spring training. So 2 on, 2 outs here in the top of the 6th. Then Ramiro Pena, who was the Yankees utility guy last year, one of them, is the hitter, and there's an off-speed pitch for strike, and it's 0-1.
Another good spot. Off-speed pitch on the outside part of the plate. Hitter maybe thinking fastball at that time.
This should get Willis out of the inning. Galvis flips to second the short way, and the side is retired. So 1 run on 2 hits, 2 men left. We've completed 5.5. The debut. Three to 2 here at the bottom of the 6th. A lot going on here at Bright House Field. For more on that, let's check in with Greg Murphy.
All right, thank you very much, Tom. Well, a little piece of Philadelphia is down here in Clearwater. Actually, I shouldn't say a little piece, because this is a mural celebrating the history of Phillies baseball. And when it's all said and done, this is going to be 8 stories tall. As I welcome in the artist, the man behind this, David McShane. And David, this is a project 4 years in the making, but we're getting pretty close to it all being finished.
That's right. About a little over 4 years ago, when the Phillies just won the World Series, the Phillies called the Mural Arts Program, which is a nonprofit organization that works with community groups, and we do these big-scale murals in the city. And they were interested in doing a project with us, and over the course of the last few years, we've been developing ideas and designs, and we've struck upon a great wall at 24th and Walnut, and we're ready to do in production mode now of this great 8-story mural. And what we have here is the cloth that's going to be glued to the wall, and that'll happen this summer in June and July. We'll finish painting up the cloth, and then by the time August comes around, we'll be putting the sealer on and taking the scaffolding down and unveiling this great mural.
Yeah, there's a number of the best players in Phillies history on here, and I know you've done a lot of the work on the murals, but you haven't done it all. You've kind of shared the workload. Tell me a little bit about that.
That's right. Because we're a community arts program, we try to involve the community, and in this case, the community is the worldwide Phillies fans. So we've had some community paint days in Philadelphia, and of course we're doing it here in Florida for the opening of spring training, where fans can come up and help paint this cloth, which, like I said, becomes like wallpaper, which we'll glue up. And yesterday we had a lot of fun with players stopping by to paint. So we had Carlos Ruiz painting his own part of his own chest protector on his image. Jimmy Rollins painted his face because he wanted to make sure it was perfect. And Mike Schmidt and Jim Thome, the two sluggers, came by and they were painting some outfield grass on a piece of cloth, so it was really great.
All right,
Fun.
so a serious community project, and fans here in Clearwater at today's game will also get a chance to make their mark on this mural that will be seen in August, dedicated in August, back in Philadelphia. T-Mac, back to you.
All right, Murph, thank you very much. David McShane's a nice guy. We were in there yesterday painting different parts of that mural. I had the 51 on the chest protector of Carlos Ruiz. What about you, Sarge?
I had actually 53. And I got to tell you what, a little pressure that they have on the lines where you don't go over it. And, I mean, you start to concentrate to do just that.
Scott Posednik shoots it the other way. That's a fair ball, and it's going to roll down to the corner, and it'll be a ground rule double. So Scott Posednik's aboard with one out here in the 6th inning. Phillies down by 1, 3-2.
Well, you're talking about a little bit of speed there. There's one of those guys with some speed as it goes right into the stands there. Veteran hitter. He's got a chance to make this ball club.
Yeah, Posednik had a foot injury last year, but I'll tell you what, he's a couple different spots he's been at during his major league career. He's been helpful. I mean, think back to when he was with the Dodgers a few years ago, how big a role he played in their drive to the postseason.
Well, when he's healthy, he can cause a lot of havoc. Still a base at any time, second or third.
Well, here's Tyson Gillies. Gillies bunts it right back to the mound, and Banuelos threw a seed over to first.
I don't like that play at all with one out. I'm sure that Charlie doesn't like that when you have one out. You'd rather have him take his chances on getting a base hit. It's already one out, so you're not trying to move that runner over to third base. You're trying to get him in. Charlie kind of looking a little bit perplexed over there, wondering what kind of sign that maybe Juan Samuel gave him. And there's that mural again.
There's Cole Hamels, his likeness that'll go up on that mural. And then, as Sarge says, the pressure was on.
I got to tell you, I had a pretty good time in doing that, trying to keep that red paint within the lines.
Well, you saw a little shot of Jimmy Rollins and Mike Schmidt doing it. I mean, Schmitty was intense.
Oh, and he had his glasses on just to really make sure. You know, you got to have it. They were putting a lot of pressure on you coming in there doing that.
Here's Lance Nix. Billy signed him to a contract, 2-year contract this offseason. Last year was with the Washington Nationals. Outside, 3 balls and no strikes. What do you think about the pickup of Lance Nix?
I think it's a good pickup for him. He'll be able to maybe fill in there at first base. 3-1. He's always a pretty good hitter. Let's see what he does on this count here. It's actually 3-0. And during the season, Charlie will let guys hit 3-0, providing that they can really show that they can hit 3-0.
Well, now there's a good take. Whether he had the green light or not, it wasn't the exact pitch that Nix wanted.
Very good point. You want that ball right in your wheelhouse where you can really hammer that ball and put a good swing on it.
Well, that one was a little closer to the wheelhouse, and he fouled it back. It might have been in just a little bit.
Again, maybe could have gotten it down some, but if you're aggressive enough and you're looking for that ball in, most guys that are fastball hitters, they're going to come around that ball. They'll be able to get to it. Just the one that's up that you hit a lazy fly ball to center field, those are the balls you want to stay off of and not swing at.
3-2 the count to Nix. And there's ball 4. So the Phillies have 2 on with 2 outs. Hector Luna is due up. Yankees do have bullpen action.
It's a good at bat by Nix there, taking that ball away. Here's Luna is a kid that can move the ball on left-handers and right-handers for that matter.
There's Betances, who's up and throwing in the pen for the Yankees. Hector Luna last year for the Red Sox, 283 with 14 home runs. He's been in the big leagues with the St. Louis Cardinals.
Well, there's no secret. Titan Fields need some strong right-handed hitting. Now, they have a lot of left-handed hitters, and they have a tendency to face a lot of left-handed pitchers.
Pasenik goes, and a number fouled. Nix followed on the double steal attempt.
Well, with 2 outs, the only way that's a good play is if you make it. You're already in the scoring position. But, you know, base stealers will run at any time. And, well, again, Pasetnik will steal third, but you want to make sure if you go that you are there.
Well, it's no balls and 2 strikes now to Luna with the Phillies down by 1 here in the bottom of the 6th. Nice play by Russell Martin, who's gone the whole way so far for the Yankees.
Probably means that he won't play tomorrow.
Well, that's the thing. The Phillies and the Yankees will face each other 3 straight days. Today here in Clearwater, tomorrow in Tampa, and then Monday here in Clearwater. And as we talked about, tomorrow in Tampa, Derek Jeter, Alex Rodriguez, those guys will apparently be in the lineup. Look out. That going flying into the crowd. There's a gentleman that nearly made the catch before it took that bounce. And it bounced just in front of that young lady, and hopefully she is okay. She's got a smile on her face.
It didn't appear to actually hit anyone. Those are the ones that are always a little more dangerous.
Yeah.
You see that end where he got sawed off right there? That's very pointed. When you see that coming, fans really want to get out of the way. Self-defense there. Just make sure that that doesn't come anywhere near you or someone that's close to you. Out in front of that particular pitch there, hitting it off the ends up.
2-2 the count. Sarge, what do you think about these Yankees? Do you think that they're the cream of the crop in the American League East?
You never can count them out. I mean, they have some strong arms, as you know, that in that starting rotation, and I think a lot depends on how old the guys are, from Jeter along Alex Rodriguez, on exactly how long or how many games they're able to play.
Good outfield, though.
Swisher's going to be okay. Granderson has just come into his own as a hitter. And look at the victories. Again, you just can't count them out. The Rays have played excellent ball, and you know the Red Sox, they got something to prove.
And the Blue Jays, you just never know with the Blue Jays if they can find enough pitching.
Decent year, 81 and 81.
3-2 the count, so the runners will be off with 2 outs here in the bottom of the 6th. The Red Sox have kind of revamped their roster. New closer, a couple different parts of the rotation, couple trades to help out some of the positions.
Yeah, and I'll say the Yankees are the captains of that East. You know, they have something to prove again, and they always seem to find a way. And then when they have to beat a club one-on-one, they almost seem to sweep those guys and get a large lead.
Runners go. And there's ball 4, so the bases are loaded. That's probably going to be it for Banuelos.
It's good at bat. Didn't fall to that high pitch again. That's some of the things that hitting coach Greg Coates talks about. Larry Rothschild, pitching coach, coming up, well known all over the league, was a manager at one time for the Rays.
Yep, Tampa Bay Devil Rays at the time. And maybe he's not coming out. Maybe he's just going to talk to him for a little bit. Betances has been warming up in the pen. The Phillies will make a change at second base. Lance Nix is going to exit. And Cesar Hernandez is going to pinch run for the Phillies. So Nix is done, and they're going to allow Banuelos to stay out there. John Mayberry will be the hitter with the bases loaded. All right, now we talk about situations. Bases loaded, 2 outs, struggling pitcher right now. You might just get that fastball to start off, and you might be able to settle in on it.
It's got to be your pitch. I mean, I've always felt bases loaded, these situations, pressure's always on the pitcher. Why? Because he has to throw a strike. You just want to be ready and know what you want to do with it if it is a good quality strike.
Now that wasn't.
And the more that he pitches and the more that he goes away, and then it might get to a point. If I go to 2-0 here, in that situation, I'm going to make him throw a strike, because now I have the confidence as a hitter. He's not going to be able to throw the ball by me, and I think I can handle it anywhere he goes if this particular pitch is the ball.
Well, that one was out of the strike zone, and Banuelos looks like he's going to get out of it. Pena battled the wind, and the sun made the catch. So the Phillies leave the bases loaded. When we leave Philadelphia to go back home, well, in August there'll be a new addition. On 24th Street, it's the beautiful Phillies mural. You can find out more about that by Phillies baseball is brought to you by Xfinity, only from Comcast, the official HD triple play provider of the Phillies. Had a little flash mob before the ball game today. That's down the left field line, just beyond the third base bag. It's a 3-2 Yankee lead as we go to the top of the 7th. Hunter Pence signing some autographs. In fact, he tweeted a picture of Phillies fans earlier today, getting some autographs, taking some pictures of Hunter. When the Phillies report for spring training, so does Comcast Sportsnet. Well, we found that out tonight and every night. Get exclusive reports from Phillies spring training in Clearwater. Watch Countdown to Opening Day, presented by Woodbury Nissan on Sports Night tonight at 10, only on Comcast Sportsnet. Chad Qualls is the new pitcher for the Phillies. Qualls is going to help stabilize the back end of the Phillies bullpen this year. Pretty good pickup by the Phils. Last year, a 3.51 earned run average, and this guy can work.
Yeah, he's durable. There are the totals right there on Qualls. He gets into a lot of games. He can pitch. If you need him, he can pitch more than an inning. He also is one of those guys that can pitch 2-3 days in a row. So as you said, Tom, he'll help you in the back end of the bullpen. He's a veteran guy who's not going to be intimidated by, pitching in a market like Philadelphia. He's a sinker slider guy, not a strikeout guy necessarily, more of a contact type pitcher. Put it in play early.
He has done everything in the bullpen during his career. He's closed. He's set up. He's worked the 7th inning, the 6th inning.
Yeah. He can do a lot of stuff.
Corbin Joseph, the leadoff batter. Last year, Double-A with the Trenton Thunder. That's on the outside corner. It's 0-2. And speaking of guy that's made an impact in Philadelphia, Hunter Pence, and he's with Greg Murphy. Murph?
And he made an impact in this one as well, Hunter. Good way to get the spring started, huh, with the long ball.
Oh, thank you. Just trying to get some good ABs. First bat out of the way. There's a lot of, get those butterflies and get ready for the season. But, I felt like saw the ball all right. And, with the wind today, played a little outfield. So, it was nice to get out there and play.
Yeah, I asked Cole this question because obviously pitchers are working on certain things during the spring. What about you? What about a guy like you? Are you working on something in particular when you're up there at bat?
Just a little bit of everything. I mean, every at bat you learn something. So, just being ready to hit on time. I like to be ready early, see the ball and hit the ball. And every at bat there's a lesson, whether you hit it or whether you get out, and just go out and play the game to win.
You joined this organization halfway through last season, or a little more than halfway through, got to go through the postseason, but now first full season in Philadelphia. I got to believe you're really looking forward to what you guys can do as a team together.
It's extremely exciting to be on Philly right now. Just every bit of the organization, the city, the staff, the players. It's tremendous. It's a tremendous place to play, and I'm extremely excited about this season. Can't wait to play some ball.
Yeah, even down here with all these guys down here in spring, they're always out here.
Yeah, they're crazy, man. They make it fun. It's nice. It's very nice, and we're grateful to be out here playing for them.
Hunter, thank you very much. Appreciate it. Hunter Pence. Tom will send it back upstairs.
Yeah, Murphy did such a great job coming over from Houston last year. I mean, the Phillies, after they lost Jason Worth, they thought they could find a right fielder internally, but it just didn't happen consistently. And I'll tell you what, he embraced every bit of Philadelphia, and I guess he's still doing it even now, signing those autographs down there, huh? There's a fly.
He absolutely is. Tom, it's funny because he and Chase both stopped to sign some autographs. But Hunter, he won the Good Guy Award in Philadelphia after being here for such a short period of time. The Philadelphia media awarding him with the Good Guy Award, and it's exactly what he is. But he's going to be a huge part of this team on the field as well. And we saw a little bit of that today.
Yeah, and that spark, if he's healthy. Oh, I mean that ball just jumped off his bat today. Wind it all. Yeah.
Well, he likes to play. He has fun. He's perfect to come into the Philadelphia market the way that it is because, you boo him a little bit. He doesn't care.
No.
He's just going to have a good time. And what they say, he had the fans at a low last year.
Remember that shot of him coming into the ballpark and leaning outside the window as he was coming underneath the stadium for his first day?
Well, he's not a guy that ducks the limelight. He's fine with it.
Chris Dickerson, 60 games last year in the big leagues. And it's 1 ball and 1 strike. And Chad Qualls has made very fast work out of the first 2 hitters.
Yeah, he's throwing that sinker slider. He's basically a 2-pitch pitcher. And as I mentioned, he's not going to get a lot of strikeouts. You hope he keeps his walks down. I can remember seeing him so many times when you hurt him, he'd get the ball up a little bit because he can be a little bit of a fly ball guy, and he's not overpowering. But when he's down with his sinker and his slider, he's difficult to hit, and he can get left-handed hitters out. I was talking to him a little bit the other day at the golf tournament. He's really excited about being here.
Well, that falls into the gap in right center field. Tyson Gillies can run with the best of them, and he gets to it quickly, but Dickerson's already at second with a 2-out double.
You see, that pitch was up in the strike zone. The Phillies have this little tournament every year, the Bill Giles golf tournament, and it's fun because a lot of the players come and play, and it's staff, front office. The skill level does not matter. In fact, if you stink, it's even more fun to watch.
Well, and then I enjoyed it then.
I didn't set that up for you to say that. You had a good time.
I did have a good time.
Yes.
Our captain was I played in the same group with Wheels and Scott Fransky, and that's our captain right there.
There he is.
The man can hit a golf ball farther than anybody I've ever seen in person.
What a grouch. He is Well, Dubes runs spring training. Rich Doobie really is a camp coordinator who does a tremendous job with it, and he can needle.
Yeah, he can. He and Frank Kopenbarger, Phillies traveling secretary, was the final member of our crew. Played very well.
Yes, he did. The funniest part about the tournament is because for golfers, it's a scramble. And if you hit a foul ball, you can go pick it up. It's not like
if you find it.
Well, yeah, you had a little trouble with that, didn't you?
Yeah, I did.
You went through some ammo.
1 ball, 1 strike, the count to Dwayne Wise. That one looked like it was off the end of the bat. It's going to carry pretty well with the wind, and it's going to carry right away from Pasenik and Tyson Gillies. And the Yankees will be on top 4-2, and Wise is heading to third. Pedor's throw is late. Oh, I didn't even think he hit that on the sweet part of the bat.
You know, it's one of those days. You hit the ball in the air, and anything can happen. Some exciting stuff out there. That was a breaking ball. Looked like he hit it right off the end of the bat, and they kind of misjudged it out in the outfield. No, that may have been a changeup watching it, and it's right off the end of the bat, and it blew by Pasenik. Gillies couldn't get there either, and it drops in for a hit. You figure you're going to have some of that today.
Well, that'll bring Cole Garner to the plate against Chad Qualls. 8 hits now for the Yankees. Both these teams played a college team to start their games. Phillies played on Wednesday against Florida State, and then the Yankees played yesterday against South Florida.
A nice crowd here the other day with Florida State.
There was. 1 ball, 1 strike, the count. Phillies won their ball game 6-1. That one's hit a mile. Is it fair or foul? It is a fair ball. That was a bullet by Cole Garner. It's a 2-run home run, and the Yankees now lead it 6-2. I know the wind is blowing out, but he crushed that one.
He crushed it, yeah. It looked like it was going to be way foul when he hit it, too, and it somehow stayed fair down the line. That was a pitch that looked like it may have been about nose high where he hit it, too. It looks like the way Pence does things sometimes. Isn't this really high in the strike zone? Well, not that high. About letter high. And a good swing at it.
So Qualls is allowed 3, and Justin Maxwell will pinch hit for the Yankees.
Spot where Raul Ibanez was earlier in the game. Good to see him again. He's not really a pull hitter either, Raul. It'll be interesting to see if he gets pull happy trying to play in Yankee Stadium. Because that's not his game. Raul is more of a alley's guy, gap to gap, left center, that kind of stuff. And boy, you're a left-handed hitter at Yankee Stadium. You can really get pull happy.
And the deepest parts of that park, like every other park, though, are the gaps. But the ball, it does jump.
Well, it's really shallow. The dimensions it's not real far to right center there.
So Qualls allows 3 runs in his debut in a Phil's uniform here in the top of the 7th. Time to stretch here at Bright House Field. The Yankees on top.
from this afternoon's game. Here's Raul Ibanez hit this little duck snort down the left field line, hit right on the line. And Michael Martinez got banged up a little bit, but he's okay. And Hunter Pence in the first inning, bam, it's a 2-run home run to right center field here. Tell our Greg Murphy, you know, they thought he saw the ball okay today in his first couple at bats. Really, that's all you want to do in spring training is just get your at bats in, get your work in. Here's Curtis Granderson. He winds up hitting a ball to left field, got up in the wind, took it out. That was a home run, made it 2-2 at the time. And then moments ago, here's this ball smoked down the left field line by Corbin Joseph. He kept it inside the pole. That's a 3-run home run. Actually, a 2-run home run, and that's where we are right now at 6-2. The Yankees throwing up 3 in the 7th inning. And look at our summary. Cole Hamels started the game for the Phillies if you're just tuning in, and he was fine here this afternoon. Gave up a run. That was that ball that Ibanez hit down the left field line.
Yeah, Cole Hamels and Dave Bush both pitched well on their 4 innings combined in this afternoon's ball game.
I figured there'd be some circus plays out here today, and the best play of the game had to be the play on the pop-up that Dontrell Willis made.
That was unbelievable.
That would be a play that Larry Anderson. I went over and asked him, "What would you have done?" He said he'd just call him, calling for his infielders to help out. He'd have been out of there.
He'd have been running toward first or second.
Not even close to it.
Well, here's Dellin Betances, 23-year-old, who is a New Yorker through and through. This is his first pitch to Juan Pierre. And his first at-bat of the day is inside.
If he looks tall, he is.
6'8", 260 pounds.
Big guy.
Yep.
Kind of Broxton-like.
2-0 the count to Pierre. Betances last year pitched in 2 games for the Yankees. Obviously spent his year in the minor leagues. Former 8th round selection back in 2006. Facing Juan Pierre, who back into the National League after spending 2 years with the Chicago White Sox. Hit 277 combined for the White Sox, with 3 home runs and 95 stolen bases.
That familiar look of his with the batting helmet over his baseball cap. It always looked like the helmet was too small or too big sometimes. You never could tell with him, but what a good player he was. And you see he never struck, or he doesn't strike out a whole lot. Polanco right in the mix there.
Kind of forget that Juan Pierre began his major league career with the Colorado Rockies organization.
Whoa. Well, this guy could make you uncomfortable.
Yeah, that ball got away.
Even as a left-handed hitter with a 6'8" guy, he wouldn't even want to hit off him.
He'd want to get out of the way.
Look at this. Now, you know, he's gone away with a pitch right before that. And look at this. And it's spring training, and you really don't want to get hit.
Pierre slices it the opposite way, just foul.
Phillies have a little bit, and the guy we talked about earlier, Ahmad, Philippe Ahmad, is about the same size. And just watching him a little bit in spring training, and we'll see him soon, I'm sure. Boy, hitters do not like hitting off him. Yeah, now we'll see on the big league level what happens.
Yeah, I think he's on the schedule to pitch either tomorrow or Monday. That ball is pulled foul right past Sam Perlazzo in the first base coach's box. Juan Pierre during his career has 2,020 hits. Does that surprise you? 2,020 hits.
Well, with his legs, you figure he could get a lot of hits because the way he could bunt and beat out infield hits.
Well, he's going to be aboard here as he just got out of the way of that pitch.
I mean, it just cannot be fun to face a guy like this.
And it'll bring Sebastian Baez to the plate.
Talking to the other day to Juan Pierre, as you know, one goes way over the catcher's head and hits the screen, then you come after your knees. Said, boy, talking to him, said, you and Juan Castillo were so annoying when you were with him, he says, yeah, we used to drive you guys crazy. And he smiled. You know, he's such a nice guy. He said, we were always on base.
They were.
I said, yeah, you were always on base. Second and third, nobody out.
Well, and Pierre, if he does make the club, and I think Charlie Manuel hopes that he does, I mean, he could provide some much-needed speed off the bench for the Phillies, or in the starting lineup, because we said that Mayberry most likely will be playing first base early on. Sebastian Baye, the hitter. Baye last year at .284 with 5 home runs and 40 runs batted in for Clearwater. And this young man right here, they think could be a very special player.
Yeah, they like him. You know, he's more of an offensive catcher than defensive at this point in his career, and you want it the other way. You know, it's really great when your catcher can hit, but number one skill, you have to be able to catch, throw, block the ball in the dirt, and handle the staff. And he's getting better at that. But he can swing the bat a little bit, and he's strong. And the one thing they worry about him a little bit is he gets a little bit homer happy sometimes.
Well, I guess the next couple of years, that's what he's going to be working on, is the catching part of the game.
Right. Understanding the game, understanding how important it is for pitchers to want to throw to you and not say, no, I want somebody else back there.
Swing and a miss, and it's 2 balls and 1 strike.
That's dirty. You know, throw a 2-0 breaking ball with as hard as this guy throws.
The good thing about Baye being up here in camp right now is that he can work with an assortment of guys, including Vic Billmeyer, on his catching skills, and they can put some thoughts in his mind. There goes Pierre. That ball goes right on by Gary Sanchez, and Pierre is at second.
Would be a stolen base because he was running. This catcher's going to go out there now and make sure when they change the signs that he is on the same page, because you do not want to get crossed up by a pitcher like this. Never want to get crossed up, but especially with a guy like that. There's Pierre running on the play. He's going to try and steal the bag, and that's a scoring rule if you're running. Not a wild pitch, stolen base.
So he's in scoring position with the Phillies down 6-2 here in the bottom of the 7th. Way inside, and it's ball 4. So first and second, back-to-back walks. Well, the Phillies would like to put some more pressure on the opposition by stealing some bags. The Phillies last year were 10th in the National League, and that's pretty good considering where they started. I mean, they were 16th or 15th for a good part of the year. And they'd like to see, an assortment of guys run the bases with a little more aggressiveness. But they need to be healthy.
Yeah, that guy, you see Larry Rothschild out there talking to pitcher. Tom says, Juan Pierre, if he's, you can use him as a pinch runner if he makes your club. As you said, Tom, you can play him a little bit. But he will run. He'll also get thrown out because he's not afraid to get thrown out. And that's what most good base stealers are. They don't worry about it.
Well, he's sized up this 6'8" frame that the pitcher has. And he's thinking, man, I can get a step on this guy.
Plus, he was happy to get out of that box. That guy was all over the place to him.
Well, now Kevin Franzen will be the hitter.
He played for the Giants for a lot of years. We saw him there. Very important you bring in these 6-year minor league type free agents, guys that have played in the major leagues, have some experience. Maybe they make your club. They give you depth at AAA.
That ball's hit to short. This will be the second double play of the day for the Yankees. Over to third goes Juan Pierre.
And he got one of those pitches up that Yankees hit out last inning. In that case, he smoked a one-hopper into a double play.
Betances, who last year pitched at AA and AAA, he may have gotten away with one there.
See, Larry Rothschild said, come on out, just throw one down the middle, let him hit it really hard, we'll get a double play. Can't help you if you keep walking, guys.
Well, here's 22-year-old Freddie Galvis, who was a big topic this offseason as the Phillies were waiting to sign Jimmy Rollins. Freddie's already batted once today. He's 0 for 1. The plan is, if everybody stays healthy, for Galvis to play the year at Lehigh Valley and just keep getting better. They think defensively he's already a major league player, but it's his offense that he has to keep working on, although it wasn't too bad last year. Combined between Lehigh Valley and Reading, he hit about 280.
He's picked it up a little bit, gotten a little stronger.
Behind second base, Pena gives way to Dwayne Wise, and the inning is over. No runs, no hits. One man left for the Phillies. We've completed 7. We go to the Phillies baseball is brought to you by W.B. Mason. You can't go wrong when you buy right. Now the Fanatic doing a little dance on top of the Phillies dugout. He let all the youngsters go, but he kept one for the end of the song.
Little Chuck Berry song. A little rock and roll down there for those kids. There he goes.
Talk about having a busy offseason. The Fanatic had a busy offseason. Speaking of characters, there we are.
Oh boy.
Team photo earlier today, Wheels.
2 of them.
Yep.
A couple of different looks.
That was the one with the same shirts and the same pants. Larry really liked the shirt he had on. The first shirt he had on?
Yeah.
That was a doozy.
Yeah. It's hard to say which ones look better.
Well,
with that group.
Here's Raul Valdez, 34-year-old from the Dominican Republic. And he'll face Jorge Vasquez to start things off. Valdez last year, he was all over the place. He played for the Cardinals, played for the Yankees. The year before, he played for the Mets. He actually pitched in 6 games for the Yankees, had an ERA of 2.70.
Saw this guy one year. He pitched a lot of games for the Mets one year.
Yeah, back with New York in 2010, he pitched in 38 games.
Yeah. Well, you know, they'd love to have a couple left-handers in the bullpen, but then they're just going to carry a left-hander because he throws that way. They want see if they can pick up on a couple guys and they can get left-handed hitters out. That's why Willis is so important. Why it's an important spring for him.
Yeah, the Phillies this offseason, they brought in guys like Valdez, Pat Mish, Jeremy Horst, who they acquired from the Reds for Wilson Valdez, Joe Savory, who came on like gangbusters last year after beginning the year as a hitter, a year removed from being a pitcher. San Antonio Bastardo.
Bastardo did a good job last year. This time last year, you had no clue that Bastardo and Stutz were going to help you.
2-2 the count. Tomorrow we mentioned the Phillies and the Yankees will meet up in Tampa. Roy Halladay will make his first spring start. On Monday, we'll see Michael Pineda for the Yankees against Joe Blanton. Boy, Joe Blanton looked really good yesterday in his bullpen session. Whew. And the key is that he's healthy.
Yeah. Well, that's always number one. If you can have a healthy player and then go from there. Yeah, and he obviously had a lot of arm problems last year. One more year on Joe Blanton's contract, so you know he's going to want to pitch well, too.
Swing and a miss. And Valdez has a strikeout on a breaking ball. There's been a lot of talk about those Washington Nationals and what they've done this offseason. Well, we'll get a chance to see them for the first time Monday, May 21st, as part of a 3-game series. All 3 games night games, Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday. The Tuesday game is a Hatfield Dollar Dog Night. Go to Phillies.com to purchase your tickets. Now, the Nationals, as we said, acquired Gio Gonzalez during the offseason. They also picked up former Phil Bradledge, Mark DeRosa, and Ryan Perry from the Detroit Tigers. However, those are guys that they picked up, but they have Bryce Harper battling for an outfield job, the 19-year-old, and Steven Strasburg, who is going to be on an innings limit, will be back to pitch for them this year. So I don't know, Wheels. I think the jury's still out as to whether they will contend for one of the 5 postseason spots.
What they have done and what they're continuing to do is make the division really good, because the Phillies have done such a tremendous job of wiping out the East in the last few years, and that's contributed to their big win totals. If you can beat your own division like that, well, Washington's going to make it tougher to be able to dominate your own division because they're getting better. Just like the Braves are good, just like the Marlins are going to get better.
Chopper over to third, Hector Luna. And he gets it over there in time to get Sanchez. Kevin Franzen hung on to the bag. So 2 outs. And it'll bring Nunez to the plate, which is Ramiro Pena to the plate. Pena came on to play for Nunez a couple innings ago. Fastball inside, 1 ball and no strikes. By the way, Ryan Howard was back in camp today. Ryan was checked out the other day. Had the sutures cleaned up a little bit from his Achilles surgery.
Long process.
He's worked hard, though.
Injury,
He really has.
They were very pleased with his progress, and he was actually out on the field doing some stuff, and then he's had the little problem, as you said, Tommy, with the sutures. We'll see. It's going to be a while.
Swing and a miss, and it's 1 ball and 2 strikes.
One thing he's done is everything possible to get back. He really tried to do as much as he could to stay in shape, but he was in a boot. As he said, he was laying on the couch for a long time. He couldn't do it.
He couldn't do anything. Yeah, there was no cardio or anything like that. There was no hitting in the offseason. I mean, that's a guy who he worked out hard the previous few years to keep himself in home run shape.
It seemed funny, boy, playing for a long period of time without him in that 4-hole. It's not funny. It's not good.
Nope. Swing and a miss and a tough slider. And the throw to first by Baye, and that finishes up this 8th inning. So it's a 1-2-3 8th inning for Valdez. 2 strikeouts along the way. Not too shabby. Pretty good breaking ball.
thank the Clearwater community and particularly the Public Art and Design program for making this opportunity possible. Thank you all.
Well, guys, that was Team President Dave Montgomery just a few weeks ago down here in Clearwater as a bust of Paul Owens, the man they called the Pope, such a great part of the organization since the 1950s, first in player development as a manager and general manager, was unveiled here in the heart of the Carpenter Complex down here in Clearwater. Certainly well-deserved. Tom Wheels, you guys know Paul Owens, responsible for so many great years of Phillies baseball over the years.
Yeah, Murphy, and a lot of guys in that picture. It was fun to see them that night. Lee Illia, Billy DeMars came over from his home in Dunedin. Dave Cash, old AC, he was also here that night. A lot of people that Paul Owens had tremendous effect on, including, you know, many of us who were lucky enough to know him, to learn from him, to be yelled at by him.
How was that, Wheels?
Oh man, he could get you. And patted on the back. He was a great man and a tremendous baseball guy. And you know, anybody who's around Paul Owens saw Dallas Green in that shot too. Dallas Green and Paul Owens taught you how to be a professional in this game. If you didn't, they didn't want you around.
Well, I remember during his funeral services, just the amount of people over in South Jersey that came through the funeral home. Oh, I mean, his impact obviously was felt in Philadelphia, but even beyond. There's Rhino. He was part of the Phillies organization when Pope was around.
Yeah.
Rhino was a player at that time.
Or as Larry Baugh continues to call him the throw-in in that game.
Yeah.
He says to Sandberg all the time, don't ever forget you were the throw-in, man. And
right.
Sandberg takes it very well.
Oh, that's a good guy right there.
Yeah, he is a good guy.
Rhino, we showed the mural painting before. Rhino was in there with Sarge painting at the same time. Those guys are very close friends. They can rib each other with the best of them.
Yeah, they played on some very good Cubs teams.
Rhino, of course, managed the Lehigh Valley Iron Pigs last year, did a great job, got them to the postseason.
And the organization is very fortunate to have Ryan Sandberg back for another year.
Tyson Gillies takes a strike, and it's no balls and one strike. They are humming about Tyson Gillies. I mean, they have loved what they have seen. Ruben Amaro said that he's really turned some heads. Oh, look at that. Cesar Cabral did a little swipe at the glove with the glove and nearly came up with that one. That'll be a base hit.
Well, the thing about Gillies is they don't know. They know they have a young player with talent, but he hasn't played enough to know what you have. You know, he's been hurt for 2 years. Right here, the thing is, can he stay in against the left-hander? We see how he pulls off against left-handers, and that's one thing. You know, if he could ever be able to stay in there, but he can run. Look at him get out of the box. Well, when Ruben called him yesterday, Ruben Amaro, in the little meeting we had yesterday, the broadcasters with Ruben and Charlie Manuel, Scott Profe, he said he's the fastest guy in camp. By far.
I think one of the great assessments was at the beginning of spring training. Was it Hunter Pence who said he's like a mongoose?
He can really run. He has, as Charlie likes to use the word, talent. And, you know, you have talent, you go from there and see if you can get something out of the guy.
2-0 the count to Cesar Hernandez.
This game is so hard to play, especially at this level, and it takes so much repetition, and he hasn't had repetition.
Hernandez up for the first time this afternoon. That one to right field. And they won't double him up. I like to see him try to steal a base, just to see him run. You know, just to see. I know they're down 6-2 here in the bottom of the 8th. But as you know, we've got a month of baseball to be played here in Clearwater. We'll get a chance to see it, but to watch him run in the outfield, whew, even during batting practice.
Well, he goes one speed. You know, he does everything with a lot of enthusiasm.
Here's Hector Luna. He walked his first time up.
Grew up in British Columbia, and you know, like most Canadian kids, he plays a lot of hockey. You wonder what he's like on skates. Had to be a whirling dervish.
2-0 the count. I think it'll be interesting to see where Tyson Gillies starts this year. You know, whether it's Double-A, whether he gets a chance to play in Triple-A. It's probably Double-A. That one's off the hands. A looper to center, and Wise will play it on a hop. So 2 hits in the inning for the Phillies. Down 6-2 here in the 8th. Our first spring training game.
The second baseman for Pete Orr.
Well, as we get started, we want you to be in the know with the 2012 publication subscription. Subscriptions include a Phillies media guide, yearbook, photo card set, and all 6 issues of Phillies magazine, plus a free 2012 Phillies wall calendar. Items are shipped individually as they become available. To place an order, call toll-free 877-GO-PHILS or visit the fan section on Phillies.com. The media guide, we received our first copy of it today, and it features Charlie Manuel on the cover of it, the all-time winningest manager in Phillies history.
It's a great picture.
It is a great picture. Also on the inside of the front cover is a page in honor of 2 great men that we lost this year. Jerry Clothier and Andy Musser, who passed away earlier this year.
When you talk about 2 good men, there's Charlie, who Tom says on the cover, and on the inside part, the tribute to Jerry and Andy.
1-1 the count to Pete Orr. And it's 2 balls and 1 strike. Pete Orr last year broke camp with the Phillies. And then went back and forth between Lehigh Valley and Philadelphia. Got his number 4 back, Wills.
Yeah. Well, they thought enough of him, you know, to want him back again here this year, and he wanted to come back.
Great character guy. And he contributed a little bit last year. Center field, Dwayne Wise is under it. The Phillies leave a couple more. So the Phillies, the last couple of innings, have left some base runners. Last 3 innings, we've completed 8 here in Clearwater. The perch is full. The CAA quarterfinal round, plus highlights of this ball game and a preview of tomorrow's Flyers Capitals duel. Get all the news Philly fans need to know on Sports Night. That's tonight at 10 on Comcast Sportsnet. And speaking of Comcast Sportsnet, Phillies and Comcast Sportsnet will air 109 regular season broadcasts, all in HD, on the Comcast networks. This is the 15th season of games on the Comcast networks. 14 different spring training games. How about all the spring training games that we're going to be doing from right here at beautiful Bright House Field? Well, there you have it. Jonathan Papelbon is already in the hearts and minds of the young in Philadelphia. The number 58, which was worn by Antonio Bastardo, not no more.
Yeah. Run a lot of that this spring. Guys changing numbers.
Pete McCannon changed his number. He's number 5 now. You mentioned Pete Orr is wearing number 4. Bastardo's wearing 37. Stutz is still wearing 4. That's Michael Stutz into the ball game. Last year, what a breakout year. I know there were times where he may have been fatigued, but I mean, think about all the games this kid pitched in and helped the Phils to the postseason.
Now, he did a really good job. That's the thing when you see in spring training, you just don't know whether or not guys will be able to help you later on, but you get a little feel. And, they knew that he had the potential to pitch in the big leagues, and when the spot opened up, they brought him up, and he stayed all year.
Well, he'll face Corbin Joseph to start the top of the ninth. Phillies down 6-2. It's like a 3-game series against the Yankees. 3 games today, tomorrow, and Monday. Tomorrow in Tampa, Monday back here in Clearwater.
I think I had him hitting the 3-run home run earlier. That was Cole Garner, right? The 2-run home run was
that
Cole
is correct.
Garner.
Yeah.
Sorry. Scorecards can be a little bit of a challenge.
Well, the wind's been a challenge today, and on a normal day that ball will be back in the seats, but it stays in play, and Hector Luna takes care of it. One away. During spring training, you don't often have 1, 2, 3 innings, but a reminder that this year, every time the Phillies retire the opposing team 1, 2, 3, Comcast will make a contribution to Phillies charities. Phillies baseball is brought to you by the Xfinity HD Triple Play, your complete lineup for digital TV, lightning fast internet, and home phone. 3 today, Wheels. 1, 2, 3 innings. 3.
3?
Yeah.
That's really something with this wind.
Here's Brandon Laird. Laird flied to right his first time up. Pretty good breaking ball in on the hands. Galvis throws him out. 2 away for Stutz. Michael Stutz is part of a bullpen this year, will be part of a bullpen, or at least the competition, that will feature some youngsters. We mentioned Stutz, Bastardo. We mentioned Philippe Almond. I mean, there's a good chance that we'll see him in the Phillies bullpen at some point, if not at the start of the year.
Well, they think they have the numbers here that they're going to be able to put something together that'll be good. And time will tell on that, but they feel they have veteran guys that could take jobs, or they have enough of these younger players around who will also be able to contribute. So I think that's going to be one of the interesting things to see who's on the airplane going out of here on April 1st and is in the bullpen.
Or I guess more so who's on the airplane going to Pittsburgh, because might have a few extras going.
Might have a few extra bodies, but they're right. The ones that are going to go on to play in the regular season.
1 ball, 1 strike to count to Chris Dickerson. Yankees jumped out to a 1-0 lead in the top of the first. Phillies on the home run by Pence took a 2-1 lead in their half of the first. Then single runs in the third and the sixth by the Yankees, and then a 3-run seventh, and they lead at 6-2. In the dirt. Folks just getting some sun, trying to stay out of the way from the banners all around the ballpark blowing in the wind. And there's ball 4. So he was ahead and he fell behind and wound up losing Dickerson. Well, we talked about the bullpen, and some of the names are familiar that are competing for jobs. Others are new. Look at all those pitchers that could possibly be in the bullpen for the Phillies. And at some point this year, they really could be in the bullpen.
And you see the mixture of veteran guys like a Contreras or Brian Sanchez, who was with Florida all those years, and Scott Ellerton, who's a longtime major league pitcher, Qualls, Willis, and then all those young players.
Little looper and Galvis can't get to it. So the Yankees are going to have first and third with 2 men down. So Dwayne Wise with his second hit of the day. You know, there's a couple of names on that bullpen list, and we'll see more and more as the spring moves around that fans really should focus on, and they may not be there at the start, but how about Jake Diekman?
Yeah, they like him.
I mean, he's a kid who throws 95, 96 from the left side. Justin DeFreitas has battled some arm soreness, some elbow soreness during spring training.
And Diekman's a kid with a good arm and a breaking ball in progress. And that's what he's really working hard.
Outside, or outside corner, I should say. So it's 0-1. Almonte batting for the first time. Wills, give me that first name. Come on. Zoyo?
Yeah, that'd be good enough.
Zoyo.
Zoyo. It's like Zoyo Versailles used to play for the Minnesota Twins, was an MVP in the major leagues, right?
Wow. Still trap, Wills.
In the 60s?
Still 60s?
Was he? Wasn't he in the 60s?
Might have been.
I'm not looking it up. I know it was Zoyo Versailles, so he was a heck of a player.
There's a liner to right center field. That'll be in for a base hit, and the Yankees will get a run, if not 2. It splits the gap, and Almonte has a 2-run extra base hit. It's 8-2 Yankees. At the top of the order, and I know it's different guys. They've scored 5 runs.
Yeah, well, Stutz just makes a mistake with a fastball right down the middle and pays the price.
'65 Wheels, just so you know.
He was in the 60s.
Yep.
Career 242 hitter.
With 95 home runs.
95 home runs. Now that I have my new MacBook Pro here,
yep.
I can look up things like you.
A 2-time All-Star. Justin Maxwell.
Yeah, he was a good player, Tom. Right-handed hitter.
Short career?
59 to 71. No. 2-time All-Star. I believe he was a Cuban. Yeah, born in Cuba. Yeah, I mean, he played with Killebrew, Oliva, Carew, Puck. No, not with Puck, but I mean, he played back in that era with guys like Oliva and Carew, Allison, Charlie Manuel. Would have been around at that time.
1-2 the count.
Jim Cott.
Justin Maxwell.
Was in that era of Twins, I believe.
I have to admit, I'd never heard of him before.
Oh, is that right?
Yeah.
Well, you're a lot younger.
Yeah, but still, he was an MVP.
Well, you know, I mean, I'm in my 20s when he was playing, you know. But I just remember it was a really good complementary piece of very good Twins teams that, you know, played in World Series.
That's pretty good, though, that a complimentary player can turn himself into an MVP for a year.
Yeah.
Well, Stutz is able to get the final out as Maxwell can't hold up on that check swing. 2-run score in the inning for the Yankees on 2 hits. They leave 1. We go to the bottom of the 9th. 8-2, Yankees on top. We go to the bottom of the ninth inning with the wind blowing out today. We knew we'd have some home runs and wheels. We had a couple of home runs. Our W. Mason deliveries of the game. A couple of long balls by the Yankees. Hunter Pence hit one earlier for the Phillies, but then the Yankees took over with the long ball.
Yeah, as you said, Tom, a couple homers for the Yankees. Granderson hit a lot of home runs last year, over 40. Most of them probably towards right and right center. Hits this one off the end of the bat up into the wind to left field for a homer. Then the 7th inning, young player Cole Garner got a pitch up in the strike zone from Chad Qualls, kept it just fair down the left field line, headed towards the Tiki Bar, and those are our WB Mason deliveries of the game.
Well, the new pitcher for the Yankees is left-hander Michael O'Connor. O'Connor pitched last year in the Mets organization. In fact, the last 2 years in the Mets organization. We last saw him in the major leagues for the Washington Nationals back in 2008. So he was a free agent pickup by the Yankees. 6'3", 185 pounds from Germantown, Maryland.
And number 83 is Almonte.
Almonte is the new left fielder for the Yankees, so he'll stay in the game. Zoyo. And the new right fielder is Chris Dickerson, so he'll shift over to right field. There's Dickerson, there's Almonte. And Juan Pierre will lead it off for the Phillies. It'll be Pierre, Valle. And the first pitch is over for a strike, and it's 0-1. Yankees, of course, at this point in the game, if it was a save situation, at the greatest of all time in Mariano Rivera. And this could be his final year as a pitcher in the big leagues. He hasn't established that, but he's hinted at it.
42 years old. Huh?
Remarkable.
Probably throw a few cutters.
Yankees have a good bullpen. Robertson is a big part of the success in their bullpen. 1-2 the count to Juan Pierre. Pierre walked his only time up. Boy, he's got a funky delivery, but Pierre is able to slap it into center field for a base hit. So he's aboard to lead off the ninth.
They think Jabba Chamberlain is going to help them at some point this year.
I think so, yeah. The way it seems, they think that he's going to. You know, the rotation is pretty much, I don't want to say it's set, but Sabathia, Nova, Pineda, Kuroda, Phil Hughes, Freddie Garcia. There's a battle going on between Kuroda, Garcia, Hughes for that 5th spot.
Yeah. Freddie Garcia is going to pitch tomorrow.
Right.
Against the Phillies in Tampa. They have a left-handed reliever would be Boone Logan.
Right.
And they've got 3 or 4 other guys here in camp, including O'Connor, you know, that they're looking at to see whether or not they could be left-handed relief pitchers for them.
Oh, and 1 the count to Valle. He walked his first time up. Boy, O'Connor throws over to first almost the same way he throws to the plate. Kind of rocks back a little bit.
He can make you pull off over there. You saw Juan Pierre, that bat control that he has, because I mean his whole body had flown out of there with that motion, and still he was able to dribble it up the middle.
Phillies have Michael Schwimmer throwing in the pen just to get some work in. I think Joe Savory's the left-hander that's throwing in the pen. Swing and a miss and a changeup. This is the point of spring training too. We saw Jonathan Papelbon earlier today that, you know, even if the closers were in the game, they'll be in the game when Papelbon was in.
Right.
Because they want to make sure that the guy gets work.
Yeah, a lot of times too they'll bring them in earlier in the game because your #1 catcher will be in the game at that point.
Absolutely.
And they want that guy to catch, because you're not going to have, you know, your #1 catcher. In the Phillies case, Carlos Ruiz isn't going to be in there in the 9th inning in an exhibition game.
And the other thought too is that the other players, the top players on the other team, will still be in the game. so you can get some work against major league players instead of, as we say, as we noticed early on in spring training, that there are a lot of minor league players that are at this point.
That's why these games are, you got to play them and they become meaningless as far as wins and losses goes, because who was your double-A guy against their double-A guy in the ninth?
2-2 the count to Valle. Fly ball, shallow center field. Dwayne Wise is under it. Pierre went about halfway. You go back. There's one out.
First baseman Kevin Franzen.
And that'll bring Kevin Franzen to the plate. Phillies minor leaguers back on the Carpenter complex. They are reporting and getting set to have their games begin, but it won't be for another week or so, almost 2 weeks before they start their games. The plan is that when the minor leaguers start their games, that's when Jim Thome will play a little first base in a game and gradually build his way up into being on the big field playing first base. He'll DH for the time being. Franzen hit it to a double play back in the 7th. 6-4-3. Pretty good breaking ball. Friends is doing a little extra manicuring down there. This is a beautiful playing field. I mean, they do such a great job down here.
Opie Cheek.
Yep.
Had a great name.
He won the Groundskeeper of the Year award again last year, and rightfully so. They're busy though during spring training. Boy, they got the backfields they got to do. They got the side field here. They've got the main field. If you haven't come down to Clearwater, you really should try to do it one time, because it's absolutely gorgeous, and you have so much access to the minor league fields, the big field, and if you're a fan of the organization itself, I mean, there's just so much you can see.
And that was a great overhead shot that we had out there. You also have the opportunity to try to survive driving US 19. That was in the background. That's a lot of laughs. Wow.
In the air to left field. Towering shot. And no doubt about that one, up onto the berm. A 2-run home run for Kevin Franzen. And the Phillies have pulled to within 4 here in the 9th inning. It's 8-4. Get it up in the wind, boys.
Yep, they got one up in the wind that time.
Although that was a pretty good shot.
He hit it pretty well, but it's not going to be a home run on a normal day. But hey, he's nice. He's a nice guy. Kevin Franzen being around him a little bit. There it is. Pitch down the middle. He hits it out of the ballpark. Good back leg swing there. Kept the weight back. He talking to him the other day, he and Dustin Pedroia are really good friends, and been talking a lot about their current situations. Pedroia in a new situation with a new manager and Bobby Valentine in Boston, and Franzen over here with a different organization. Terry Francona was here yesterday doing some work in his new broadcasting career.
Yep.
He says, I am not a broadcaster, I'm an analyst.
Did he want you to know that?
Oh, yeah. It's good to see him yesterday. Briefly.
0-2 the count to Freddie Galvis. I think if it lasted any longer, there would have been a wrestling match that would have broken out.
I'll be glad to see that he had work to do.
Down the right field line and out of play.
That'd be good for him. You know, he did a great job with the Red Sox. You know, that whole situation was probably time to do some different things there, and he'll do a very good job in his new career because he's funny. He knows the game.
Well, that's why I wonder. I mean, the Red Sox will be a threat for the Yankees.
Oh, yeah.
But how long will it take them to adjust to a brand new style? You know, being in the manager's seat, Bobby Valentine.
Yeah. It will be a different situation for the Red Sox now compared to what it was before. But, you know, you can't think that they're not going to be a good team. And along with the Rays that we know a lot about from reading about them and seeing them down here, Tampa Bay Rays are a good team. Toronto Blue Jays are improved. That's a good division.
Scott Pasetnik takes a strike.
Yankees are the Yankees. You know, Baltimore got off to a better start last year and then, you know, started to struggle, but, you know, they're even a better team.
Swing and a miss. Well, they're kind of like the Pirates right now, where they're just trying to get to a winning record.
Right.
0-2 pitch to Pasetnik. Off the end of the bat, foul. And out of play.
That'll be a fun series. Phillies will go down Baltimore play this year, and so far we haven't heard anything about they're not going to make tickets available to Phillies fans. A little further south, that has become a big story.
It has become a big story. Well, that's what happens when it's empty. Off the outside corner. And it's 1 ball and 2 strikes. I do, however, think that there'll be some ingenuity used, and there will be Phillies fans at that ball game.
I think there's any doubt about that there will be a lot of Phillies fans in Washington this year.
2-2 the count.
Fans can be very creative.
Phillies will open up at a place where they travel very well, and that's Pittsburgh.
Yeah, the fans go out there. Yeah, we've been out there in the summer, you know, the last few years. It's also a town the Phillies don't win a lot of games.
2-2 the count to Pasetnik. Up high, 3 balls and 2 strikes. And ball 4. So the Phillies have a base runner. Tyson Gillies will be the next hitter. He's waiting to see if the Yankees do anything. They don't have any bullpen action, so it's going to be Michael O'Connor that they're going to face. But here comes Larry Rothschild just down the talk. At least I think it is. Unless they're just buying some time to try to get somebody up and throwing.
Yeah, they're starting to stir around a little bit out there. I think for the most part, though, let's go. You know, you can hear the engine on the bus running. We want to get out of here.
I think it's DJ Mitchell who's up and throwing in the pen, who's starting to stretch the throw. No, maybe not. A reminder, we'll be back on the air on the Comcast network on Monday when the Yankees take on the Phillies. Clay Rapata is the left-hander that's loosening up. Again, 1 o'clock on Monday. It'll be Michael Pineda for the Yankees and Joe Blanton getting the start for the Phils.
Whoa.
I think he's getting a little tuckered out, Wills.
Yeah. Yeah, but as you just showed, as we just showed there are reinforcements out there for the Yankees. This pitch just gets away from him right up by his coconut. Look out. Trying to hang in there because against the left-hander, and then here comes right at you. Now, a lot of times they'll just go breaking ball away after that.
I wasn't sure if he did it on purpose or not, though.
No, I don't think so. I think this guy is trying to impress him a little bit and just wants to get out of here. Short ride over to Tampa, though.
2-0 the count to Gillies. And 2 balls and 1 strike.
What a fun way to spend an afternoon, huh?
Somebody asked me, how do I get seats for out there? I said, well, you got to get here early. To left field. That ball's pretty well hit. That one's going to be into the alleyway. Pasetnik can run, so can Gillies. Watch him run. Pasetnik's around third. He's heading for home. Gillies will stop at second, and the Phillies are within 3. Not too bad against a left-hander to go the other way.
Yeah, he did a good job hanging in there, and that's exactly what they hope someday he'll be able to do. And just what you saw there is keep the shoulder in, hit the ball the other way, and hit it hard. And he did all of that. Stayed in that time, waited, and then slaps it into the gap in left center field.
So it's now a 3-run ball game as Pasetnik scores. And Cesar Hernandez will get a chance to bat again. So this is where you probably would use Mariano Rivera in the regular season.
Oh, yeah.
He's tying run on deck, and Hector Luna.
He'd have been ready. In one of those games where you start the ninth with a 6-run lead and hope you don't even have to get him up. You think he's going to retire?
I think there's a pretty good chance he retires.
What else can he do?
Just pad his stats.
Really? Check his resume.
Well, you know, Posada retired this offseason. You know, Jeter's not going to retire. So maybe he's the next in line.
Yeah.
Rivera. He is older. I don't know. There's folks that say that he can keep on pitching as long as he wants.
I can still remember him coming over in B games as a starter. Coming over here.
Well, the inning finally comes to a close, and so does the ball game as the Yankees hang on to win it 8-5. The Phillies scored 3 runs.